Hey everybody, welcome to the Call of Duty Challengers Elite Stage 3 community broadcast here, of course, brought to you by myself, Infinity, and Enigma. We're right into the playoffs bracket now. Of course, it's technically the knockout bracket, but it's playoffs week, and we're feeling pretty good. Andy, how the heck are you doing today, buddy?
I'm feeling really good. I loved it last week when I was able to get involved in the Challengers casting. We saw some great games, some really good stuff, some insane plays. And now today, as you said, we're into playoffs. This is where it is. Every game is for all the marbles, right? If you lose, you're in a lot of trouble. You do have that loser's bracket, but it's not where you want to be. So I'm expecting to see these big players step up in the big moments and produce something absolutely magical.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a Spanish face-off. I know that the Spanish fans, we always say it, we always gas them up that they're a very passionate bunch. Well, guys, we have a treat for you to kick off the stream today. Of course, we're going to be starting things in Winners Round 1 with Mavericks Gaming Club going head-to-head with Team War. Of course, two teams in very different positions. Before we talk about that, let's take a look at our map set, because I believe the game is effectively ready to get underway, and we can really talk about this one. Now, there are no similarities in this map set to the one that we saw these two teams face off against each other on in the actual round robin stage of stage 3.
Yeah, no similarities, but we still should bring up the recent results that these teams have had between them. And obviously, Mavericks did win 3-1 last time out in that elite game. However, to add a little bit of spice to things, we have been talking recently about how Team War is struggling, how they're going through the blend of a little bit, right? Come to Cup 13, War go on to win. Who do they beat en route? Mavericks. They 3-0. So, I mean, look, this is definitely a game that's going to have multiple storylines already built into it because of the past history between these teams. We've got another opportunity to write one here. I don't really want to put my hat on which team could go on to win it because Mavericks have looked really good this stage. War, but we know that if that War team come back to the strengths that they are, they're super dangerous.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing, right? Because, you know, we actually were on Bloody Amateurs yesterday. I'm not plugging my own podcast. I mean, I'm plugging it a little bit here. But we were on Bloody Amateurs yesterday, and Shaxter was talking about the fact that, you know, this team, albeit, you know, they didn't have a great stage 3 in the round robin section of that stage, they did just go on to win Challengers Cup number 13. So they can be venomous still. You can never count a squad like Team War out of the game. And if they're going to turn up, well, now would be the time to do it. They go head-to-head with the Spanish Brethren and Mavericks here in game number 1.
Very interesting that neither team sends a player through middle here, by the way. Straight off the bat, both teams just want to fly at each other, take on all the gunfights, and it's going to be a situation for Yako here where he could actually push through Kitchen if he decides to, gives it up instead, and the fight doesn't matter because Lucky is just absolutely going to pop off over on P1, and it's going to be War who do keep a hold of P2. There's a long time left yet for them to keep a hold of those spawns, but that being said, the flip does come in, actually. So I did feel that War had enough in terms of positioning, but that's changed all of a sudden. And Mavericks in the ascendancy.
Yeah, and this Maverick squad, they've been so good this season, of course. Now, interestingly enough, you know, look at that map set that we had last time. It was actually War starting out strong with that first map victory. Pretty dominant one as well over this Mavericks lineup. So we know they can take hard points away from Mavericks. This would be a map that's very important for them if they're able to do it. And I'm looking at this War squad to really turn up in this game as they now look for this hit over towards Kitchen. They've got two players in from behind now, still Invidian and Lucky close by. Super well aware of the fact that there is going to be players coming through jungle. There it is, dealt with the threat rather aptly. Just one more player now close by and Lucky, and he should be waiting for the hit coming through.
Yeah, and the hit will indeed come in. Metals is going to try and do something. Does pick up 2 on his way before falling, but this is probably last chance saloon in terms of a big hit. You do not want to be in a situation where you risk giving up Garage. So you will see that Metals has gone round towards that P3 side, but it's actually going to be a couple of Mavericks players who are already en route here. And War are risking putting themselves in a situation where they end up falling behind across multiple hills. Metals, though, a lot of work to do. And will fall.
Does have quite a lot to do there for Metals. Oh, he just unable to win that gunfight. I mean, Metals is one of those players, right? You and I kind of spoke about it again on that podcast the other day where he does kind of need to step things up for Team War. Maybe hasn't had the best stage 3 so far, and he definitely is capable of that. But we'll be looking to step things up here in this hard point. As for the moment, Mavericks, they've got control of this P3 hill. Still quite a bit of time for Team War to potentially give away, and you can see themselves setting up for a relatively slow push, and Metals could be really the catalyst for any push. There's the first kill coming in from Metals. Slowly but surely, War eliminating these Mavericks players from the hard point. Just a couple more to deal with. Eric Boom in the corner still stays alive for a second, but Team War able to break on through. Journey with another two-piece inside art. Lovely. Well played from him. And that is going to be effectively scrap time for Team War, but Mavericks won't mind too much. They've got that rotation in lock for the moment.
Yeah, we spoke about this in the last time we watched over them. This War side, they do this really interesting kind of setup where the rotations are really poor in terms of getting set up first, but they're really good at breaking through hills. And as we call that, Journey's going to remove Yakko's front teeth and put himself on a 5 streak. So he's absolutely frying right now. Caster's Curse comes in and he will indeed fall. But the thing is here, I don't want War to be constantly relying on breaks, right? This is Raid, this is a hill and a map that we really do see respect good rotations. So War need to start respecting that themselves and putting themselves in strong positions really early on rather than having to force themselves through the front door.
Well, that is going to be a good break coming in there from, or sorry, a good hold coming in from Mavericks as War actually spawning over towards Laundry. Mavericks dealing with the pressure for the moment. Sooner or later, War will start to focus on that rotation, and I think with Metals going down, that will probably be the moment that does it. Realistically speaking, War aren't going to want to pour any more resources into breaking what is effectively just going to be scrap time. Just make sure you're repositioning for that next hard point, and that's exactly what's happening. Lucky looking to take these players off the spawn. Unable to do it, will only take down one with a post-mortem nade, but it is going to be War in here early on. Mavericks, how do you break on through? War got players on ringside, on open steps, inside the hard point also, and every single gunfight is going their way. That is a nice wave of kills coming in from War.
Yeah, I was about to say, the one time that they actually rotate and it's a super contesty hill, probably not the best. Never mind. And they also go with a super wide setup as well to try and catch anything coming in from the flanks and stop themselves getting overwhelmed from all sides. Get a couple of kills in there and suddenly they've pulled themselves just about level. That being said, this will now turn into that scrappy hill. This will now get to that point where we'll have to make a decision. Okay, we've got P1 next. Do we look to finally get ourselves a good defensive hold for something? Or are we going to, again, allow Mavericks to turn this into a battle of the wills? Mavericks will extend this out to around a 40-point lead. They're going to also prioritize those P2 spawns. So War with all the work to do, but we look at the slaying figures. Journey 15 and 10, Lucky 14 and 6. They have the numbers and the gunny here to do something special, Brody. They just need to prioritize the rotations.
They do indeed. War actually could be a nice rotation coming in here. Yakko is still the only player on the point for the moment. Mavericks looking to come in for the support. They just got to deal with Metals to get there, and they will. Should be support just in the nick of time. Super comes in, able to pick up 2 to help out his teammate, and now War going to be spawning over towards the driveway. Mavericks, for the moment, will have control of the hard point. And for a War here, you have to break this time, realistically speaking. Mavericks have built themselves up a pretty good lead already. You do not want to give up this time over towards this squad. Good news for War, though, here is they actually managed to flip those spawns, so they are now spawning over towards jungle for the new. But Eric Boom is here, and they don't know about it. He's able to get the first few shots on the Journey. Will finish it. Turns around for the second, though. Metals able to finish that one. But the fight far from over here, as Invidian still has quite a lot to do in the backline.
Yeah, and he's had an absolutely torrid start to this one. 9 and 14 is going to make his 10 and 14, so he's going to make his stallion look relatively pretty to how it was a moment ago. Mavericks actually got way too aggressive there, caused the flip spawn on themselves, and War will take full advantage, and I'm expecting them to see them punish it here. The thing is, though, if they do manage to get locked down here, do we finally see them make that early rotation into what we would consider a typical money hill? Because they have to put several back-to-back here. They are 60 points down, and all 4 lighting up the feed, Brody. That's exactly what they need to see. Meanwhile, Mavericks, they're going to look to get up a little bit, but it looks like they've pretty much given up 2, and they're saying, fine, we'll just take 3.
I mean, well, they've got the liberty to do that, right? I mean, look at the scoreline right now. Mavericks, they've built themselves up quite a nice cushion. It's this break, this rotation that will prove crucial, whether or not Mavericks can hold on to it, because they could technically finish it off the back of this next hard point. In doing so, they've made a risk, though. They've given up the remaining scrap time to Team War. They have closed the gap quite significantly, but Super, look at him right now. Sneaky, beaky-like over towards the driveway. I think Metals, oh, that's so unfortunate. Super moves out of position just as Metals comes flying down the driveway. And now it is just Yakko and Eric Boom inside the hard point. Yakko to fall, Eric Boom also. Team War, they make a crucial crucial break. But again, the fight isn't done. It is just Invidian and Metals to try and hold on this one. Hey, would you look at that? Invidian throws a nade right at Sukri's feet, gets another one, and that right there, folks, is how to hold a hard point.
It is. It's how to break straight through the front door and then completely batter a team back out. Fantastic gunny from War. I did say that I didn't want to see them keep doing that. If they're going to put up those kind of figures, forget what I'm talking about. I know absolutely nothing. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job, and Invidian is going to knock up a 5 streak. Great stuff out of him. I was going to say that, like, one of the things that was interesting me a moment ago is the SMGs were enjoying themselves. The AR's really struggling. We are on this relatively newer patch where, you know, SMGs keep complaining about the fact that they're stuck in the mud, so to speak, and the Krigs are faster. And it didn't look like we were following that script. And all of a sudden, though, Invidian pops off, and we get this game relatively neck and neck moving to basketball.
It is a very close game now between Team War and Mavericks. Mavericks again with this rotation, but we've already seen Team War more than capable of breaking such a rotation. Journey is trying to put the shots in. Only 9 bullets left in the magazine, though. It's only going to put 3 in before falling to Eric Boom. Sukri also covering the pool side. And Mavericks in for the hard point for the moment. They can finish it here. So Team War, they need to get some players into the hard point for a break. Got 2 players coming from behind. Journey, Metals, they're here for it. They're going to have support from Lucky sooner or later. Invidian over towards the pool side as well. Yako able to win that gunfight. So now a one-dimensional attack, but it's okay for Journey and Lucky. They're able to pick up 2. Yako inside, though, picks up 2 right back. Invidian, though, is the player to have the last say. War break in, and Mavericks will not finish it here. We will be seeing another hard point.
We will indeed, and it's going to be that incredibly heavily contested P5. And I don't know who this benefits at all. The kill feed's going to be all white, and that means that we're likely to see War manage to run on in. They do. Obviously, both teams can win it here, and this is about to turn into an absolute bloodbath. Pinches coming in from all sides, Brody.
Oh, Sukri! Sukri picks up 2 huge kills for the break here from Mavericks. War, they've got the rotation in hand, but now it's Mavericks in for the time. There's still 40 seconds, a wealth of time. It should surely end here. How do War break in? Lucky you need to survive that, and quite frankly, he doesn't. Invidian is shot to hell, but somehow manages to get away for the moment. We'll just waste some time. Mavericks now on the hill once again. It's going to be Sukri winning out that engagement, and nobody from War is there. Mavericks will come out on top, and Sukri's 2-piece. I mean, it doesn't effectively shut down the entire play. There is still presence there from Team War, but Mavericks get it done in the end.
Yeah, no, I think that although it wasn't the end play to it, that wasn't the final thing, that is definitely a crucial moment there, because for a second it looked like War had taken back control. They had everything, and then I'm not sure if it's a rogue spawn or a flank that actually comes in the end, but Sukri does go absolutely massive, gets those 2, and one of the things that we've spoken about several times with this War side is that they swarm, right? They're super aggressive. Yep. At least they have been traditionally over this year, not so much recently, but they're getting much better to doing it, and yeah, they swarm. They like to pick a direction and just flood something as a team. And when you've got someone breaking up your attack line like that to a team like War, that's devastating.
It is, and I do somewhat feel here for Journey and Metals, who actually had a really good game there. We were kind of talking about the fact, again, before this, that Metals definitely needs to step things up on this team. So far, his stage 3 hasn't necessarily been abysmal, but honestly, it's certainly not up to scratch of what we expect from a player of his caliber, and it's nice to see him stepping up to it there, up to the plate in map number 1. Of course, that means it's going to be 1-0 now to Mavericks. The performance from Metals and Journey, it wasn't enough, and it was the slightest of margins. One thing I will say is War did a stellar job at stepping up when they needed to, of course. I mean, they were down by 70-80 points, I think, going into the garage hard point there, or at least I think it was going into the kitchen hard point. They're able to get the majority of time back of the kitchen, and then, of course, the crucial break comes in for garage, effectively able to tie up the map there going into the basketball hard point, which in itself was a really important engagement. So Mavericks 1-0 up. Let's take a look at what that means for our map set going forward in the series, of course, and we can kind of break it down what's coming next.
Yeah, next up comes that Moscow Search and Destroy. Moscow, I never know how to really say that one. But either way, this map is one that I'm hoping to see some really good executable plays, right? It's a super structured map. It is extremely First Blood reliant and not necessarily offense or defense based. I do think that teams see a lot more success on that A plant rather than the B plant. But all the same, what I'm looking to see here is definitely teams very confidently try and execute something. Because too often, especially with the way this map is structured. It's a lot of straight lines. If you are lacking in confidence, you're kind of nearly there, you can very quickly be cut off.
Yeah, absolutely you can. Now, interestingly enough, actually, while we did say that there are no comparable maps, of course, there are always comparable modes between the last times that these two teams faced off, and of course this one. And we look at the map that they played last time around. It was Raid, Search and Destroy, a 6-2 victory there from Mavericks. I would describe that as pretty dominant, pretty assertive, and that is relatively concerning for this War roster, right? And I know we've kind of spoken this to death at this point, but this War roster has not looked the same across stage 3, and they're certainly, I think, not the same roster that we kind of looked at with stage 1, where they ended up winning, of course, Elite back then, and certainly not in stage 2 also, where I think they, still in that conversation for a top 3 team, even though Elevate, I think, had become a much more dominant voice in that particular conversation in stage 2. So this War roster, I still think, has quite a lot to prove here, and that can work in their favor, right, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like having a chip on your shoulder, right? It's a great motivator. I do think that one of the things that I need to know here before we go into this is that the statistics about their performances during the group games. I mean, I don't have anything in regards to the cup and the way that these guys played between the cup, but when it comes to the search and destroys, War actually negative throughout the entire group stage, only just by one map, whereas Mavericks were positive. So, I mean, does that lean into this a little bit? War, a team that we typically see to be extremely respawn dominant and come out and lose here. Does that add some questions? Okay, our S&D wasn't great in the group stage.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean, the thing is with this is you're looking at two teams that have played together for pretty much all season long. Of course, we had a couple of weeks where I think this Mavericks roster, whether they were playing under 3 Hombres or Team Emptied, or whatever other name that they were going under at the time, this Mavericks roster had played with Heisen, I think, for a couple of weeks when Eric Boom decided to dip on them and go play with Train Hard for a while. Again, I wouldn't blame him for doing that because in the context, Train Hard were a better team at the time, but that's kind of besides the point. These two teams, they play with each other all season long. Their Search and Destroy is going to be pretty well down. I think, in terms of the argument between whether or not these two teams are actually bad or good at Search and Destroy, it just comes down to how you're feeling in the current meta, because of course that's one of the biggest changes. The meta we are playing now here in stage 3, entirely different to when we saw War at the peak of their performance in stage 1, of course, then under the Rams, and then Los Galacticos name in stage 2. So we'll see how their current Search and Destroy is shaping up right out the gate here. Mavericks are going to play this one extremely aggressive. Yakko straight from the mid-map. Super finally able to close out that punishment as Invidian falls.
Yeah, this is exactly that situation that we were talking about. Look how cut off they are now, and 2 and 3 are going to have to basically rotate themselves. Actually, Metals gets away with it. Metals managed to get across mid without being spotted, so they've actually managed to get together here. And yeah, the classic timing comes on through, and Sukri thinks he's onto something and is actually either going to set up a great pinch or be left out to dry.
Well, Yakko's seen them. So Yakko's now finally made that call. Hey, look, guys, War, they've managed to get past the street. Unlucky teammate, you've got a bit of bad timing, but there you go. Here's the response coming in. Sukri able to take down Metals. Journey and Lucky now being left out to dry. Super with a relatively bad Semtex. That's not going to help the situation, as Lucky now able to even the odds here, taking down Yakko. But still, there's 20 seconds on the clock. You've got to do something quickly, and Sukri, his weapon's just better.
Weapons, elbows, and everything was thrown at that one. Great play. We're going to get to see it back again here. Absolutely love a little bit of a shot punch. And Journey's going to be on the receiving end of it. Now, great round out of Mavericks. They were super aggressive. Wanted to see that confidence. It certainly came out of them there. Do they answer back with their own attack round? Again, this isn't necessarily a heavily dominated attack and defense map, but those first bloods really count. Mavericks got theirs and made it happen. Sukri on a 3-0.
Sukri's having a pretty good start to this game, all things considered. Of course, he was, technically speaking, the newest addition to this Mavericks roster. With Method's retirement early on in the season, he came in as the saving grace for this roster, and although it took them a while to get back to their form, most certainly there now. Team War looking to also get back to form here with a win. Put them one step closer for qualification for that playoff bracket. First blood in this round, though, does go Super's way.
Yeah, and that first blood's going to be absolutely huge. Bomb is being moved up towards A, and Lucky might get some blessed timing. He gets across and will let everyone know where he is, though. So all of a sudden, We're going to see a slight rotation possibly here from Mavericks. Maybe see that bomb move around towards B, and War actually already on their way. They're reading something that I'm not sure is coming through.
Well, Team War are going to read the positioning of Super, at least for the moment, but they don't do anything about it. Super able to get lucky. This should be a trade for a Journey. There it is. He is going to get it down. But now Yako in a 1 versus 2. This bomb is now down over towards A. All he has to do is defend it for 30 seconds or so. Slow but steady retake here. Journey and Amphibian trying to watch each other's back, trying to cover every single corner. Yako, does he get some nice timing? Oh, he checks it. There's the first kill. Looking for the second. Yako with the 1 versus 2. Bye-bye, War. They played that together, but Yako with the denial.
That is a dagger right there. That is just, we're talking so often about, you know, do the questions start to come in for War? I mean, they've just caused so many of their own problems by not seeing that one out. Yako goes absolutely huge. I can't imagine the noise in that chat right now. Meanwhile, War, you've got to be wondering how you managed to fall apart from that situation. They clearly were questioning something about their defense anyway because they rotated really early. I'm not sure if they caught something, but it didn't work out for them.
Just unfortunate, isn't it? Round 2 collapse here from Team War, and Mavericks going to be benefiting off the back of that one. Now, a standoff here between these two teams as War look to make any advancement forward. Metals should get the information soon that Eric Boom's on the half wall. Does spot him out. Oh, nice snap coming in from Eric Boom. Or Metals, sorry. Eric Boom gets those first shots. He's denied almost immediately, though. Sukri looking to trade things out, and he will do. And Nvidia, unfortunately, isn't looking down the street. But this will open up an opportunity here for Team War to get this bomb down.
Well, in a 3v3 retake situation, a bomb is a really good one to have down. It's really hard to retake. There's not too many angles you can come in from, and they're all bottlenecks. Mavericks are going to attempt this from one side, and you're going to see that long flank coming from Sukri. So when does that come into effect, Brody? Anytime within those next couple of seconds as time is ticking.
Here comes the pinch from Mavericks. 20 seconds left in this one. They know that Journey's and Metals behind this. There's the first kill against Metals. Journey plays his life for a moment. Should be a double challenge coming in from Yako and Super. That's exactly what happens. And that is yet another round to Mavericks there. War with their post-plant setup, unfortunately not able to hold it.
Yeah, the hard point holds are super wide. They love to get really across the map and be able to see everything. The search and destroy post plans seem to be super tight and close, and they're not getting themselves into any sort of position where if they don't win that first gunfight, the one that was out by Lobby, I forget who was in between, but it's absolutely huge. Then they're pinned into a corner, basically. They're trapped. They're susceptible to that rotation that comes in from Yako. Down they go.
Down they go. Mavericks, again, benefiting off the back of it. Having a pretty good game so far. Yako 3-1, Sukri 4-2, Super 5-1. Eric Boom hasn't got a kill yet, but you know what? For the first time ever, Mavericks, they don't need him. Feeling pretty good about it as the first blood is going to go Lucky's way this time around. And I think that right there is Mavericks getting a little bit overzealous.
Yeah, they're feeling very, very confident. They're willing to get super aggressive. I'm happy to see confidence, but there's a fine line sometimes between confidence and arrogance. And there they get a bit too gung-ho, get cut down for it. First bloods are important here, and War are going to take one of theirs, but they didn't see it out last time round. However, Lucky making it a 4v2 situation, and surely this is a very tough spot for Mavericks. A is completely taken, so they're going to have to attempt a B push here or try and win some big gunfights.
And there's the first kill coming in from Lucky. This should now be around to Team War. Given how they've played some of the situations, though, so far, I wouldn't exactly be surprised if Eric Boom pulls off this 1 versus 4. He does get the first kill. Gets away with his life for the moment, but Team War are smartly playing the time here. This should be a kill there. It is Lucky able to take down Eric. And War, they get around on the board.
Yeah, it's just the one, though. They really need to find something successful out of their plays, more than just, okay, let's just take some individual gunfights. They are such a high-level team. They've been so good all year. I want to see something come out. This is playoff stages of the Challengers Elite. Let's see a party piece. Let's see something executed that gets them back into this game, and maybe starts to make Mavericks have a couple of questions. But at the minute, it's all being too well read, and this is about to be a bloodbath over the A-bomb.
There you go, it's this double bind situation over towards A. Lucky will spot out Super, so the call has been made. Team War, they know that Mavericks are here now on the defense. Do they know how many players? Well, it doesn't really matter anyway. Invidian and Journey able to pick up those first bloods. There's number 3 for Invidian. Yakko now 1 versus 3. He is dead to rights and War. They win that spar.
They do, and it's all gun skill. They just completely tear the Mavericks apart here, teaming up together. You can see Metals and Journey there, up, down, left, right, and all between, trying to get involved together and challenge things correctly. And Yakko here steps out to 3 players looking straight back at him. I mean, that's much better. That's much more like it. Mavericks have had complete control throughout the start of this search and destroy, rolling off the back of momentum from that raid hardpoint win. And all of a sudden, we do see War get back into this, and we know that S&D is an extremely momentum-based game. It's cut up into sections, and do War roll on from here, or the Mavericks have something special? It looks like we're going to see our first big B hit here.
Looks like Mavericks are aiming that way. They've still got some chips on an A push. Eric Boom going to be sniffing out that site as a potential opportunity, and here you go Mavericks, I think, thinking twice about moving over towards B. But this push through mid should give them the options they want. It's just about making that first move. Eric Boom has just spotted out Journey over towards the outer area. But look at Yakko. He's making a very daring move. A push straight through mid-map with a bomb.
Now, does he decide to pinch in here at lobby? Because if he does, he could catch Metals and Journey completely unawares.
Oh, Lucky. Lucky's looking at it. Yakko's there. If Yakko moves, he's dead. If Yakko moves, he is a dead boy. Oh, no, he doesn't. Yakko takes the shots, though, and he misses them. So no kill for Yakko. This A push from Mavericks kind of been stunted. And now it's a 2 versus 3. This has fallen apart very quickly. Yakko doesn't even have the time to plant the bomb now. He does. All right, he does have the time. But honestly, Invidian should check this. No! Invidian just backing away. And now it's a 1 versus 1 between Yakko and Invidian. Yakko's looking down the escalators. Looks away at the wrong time, though. Invidian going to check it out. Walks away for the moment.
Oh, goodness me, Brody. I mean, the craziest round of timings that we are going to see for some time. I'm not sure how Yakko manages to get all the way up through the middle of the map, by the way. He's completely uncontested. No one sees him, and he's basically off into the next map at some point. And then the situation with Invidian there, where he's looking through the middle, and Yakko's just on the other side of Ticket, just minding his own business. The shots are missed, and we end up with this crazy situation at the end here where everyone's looking at everything but each other. So I'm not sure exactly where we give credit to and where we kind of say you made a mistake.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'll give credit to Yakko in that round for still looking at us plant that bomb at the end, right? I mean, he had, what, 6 seconds thereabouts to get that bomb down?
Yeah, no, you're completely correct. Very, very close there. Wasn't very much left in it. It's one of those situations where you're just praying.
Praying and planting, right? But it doesn't matter anyway. War are now able to win 3 rounds on the bounce. They've got themselves right back into this one. Big reason for that, Invidian on a 4 spree across the last few rounds. Can he continue it and maybe start to talk about score streaks in a couple of rounds? But War, on this particular offense, again, looking to put their chips on an A plant.
They've had some success here. The big metric for War right now is those first bloods. They've pulled up 4 in comparison to Mavericks 2. If they get another one here, this could be a very difficult situation for Mavericks again. Oh, they catches the stick.
Super is just insane. Eric Boom going to finish off Metals, and very quickly this push from War over towards A. That's the gamble you make, right? You push up, you get your bomb down in a bit of a awkward spot, and now Invidian has to retrieve it, and there's not a chance that he's getting through that line of Mavericks players as they now stabilize. Andy, after 3 rounds of losses to Team War, this is the play that opens up this round. A lovely, lovely Semtex from Super to open things up.
Yeah, Journey slides straight across and, on to the end of that as well. That was absolutely pitch perfect moment there. We have a situation where Mavericks are looking again to establish that ascendancy. And if you are Team War, then it's a case of, okay, we just had a great period, but we're still behind. Like, what do they need to do here? And they're going to put all their defense pretty much onto B. In fact, they're going to get quite aggressive. And actually, Mavericks have gone pretty much all to A. So it's a guess that is going to be wrong. Likelihood it is a bomb should be moved forward here, should be moved towards and planted if they realize that they've got all this time and space. And then that is a big and difficult retake for War.
Look at Eric. Eric Boom. He catches one off guard. Can he catch the second as well? Oh, he tries to throw at the Semtex to catch number 2. So will only pick up 1. But if anything there, the valuable information has been gained for Eric Boom. He knows that 2 players are sat over in gold. The only one other player could really be sat over towards A. And that's going to give Mavericks a free plant on this A bomb. And now it's about the retake from War. It's going to be delayed as well. This will give some nice amount of time to Mavericks.
Yeah, they've got to make everything happen. This pinch coming in through mid-S because he's not being matched by Invidian, who's just looking to ring some shots in from a distance. And they need this pressure all to come in at once. Otherwise, this retake is nigh on impossible.
That's the first kill. Lucky. Okay, almost makes it happen with the Diamati, but now it's Invidian a 1 versus 3. Gets those first shots off Diamati to try and do some damage in the round, but it's just not to be. And honestly, Eric Boom's play, even though he doesn't actually do too much damage beyond just getting the 1 kill, it just opens up that entire round. Massive risk from War, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and I love this setup actually from Mavericks, this idea of, okay, we're going to send someone wide, at the very least to watch our flank, at the best to get some kind of information and damage dealt, right? The fact that they send everyone to A, not really a surprise, but I just love that they left 1 player there just to cover their backs. They get the bomb down, and it's such a hard retake. And once you have at least even numbers, I mean, War would have had to do something special. We're going big again.
Go big or go home. Mavericks, oh, Lucky and Journey able to join that first blood. Now a 2 versus 3 from Mavericks on the defense. Lucky with a nice Semtex will ward Mavericks away from a rotation for the moment, but look at Metals. He's going to catch him off guard in this rotation. Flies out for the second. That is a very confident play from Metals. I like the idea. I really do. Doesn't work, though. Super now in a 1 versus 2 to close out the game.
Yeah, and it's a wide hold, that wide sort of setup that we like to see out of War, where they're feeling confident about themselves. Super's about to walk on to the end of this one. Does get away with his life just about and will fall anyway. So that's that kind of setup that it says to me that War are a bit more like themselves. They're happy to kind of spread out. Yeah, you want to be in positions to trade with each other in search and destroy. But just kill your teammate. I didn't realize that had come through. Okay. But yeah, no, much better from them. A much more solid post-plant position, because especially on B, it's so easy to get smothered, even when you have the numbers ascendancy in that little B room.
War not out of this one just yet. They're sending 3 players over towards A. Mavericks. They're here. Metal's going to draw that first blood. Journey with a second as well. The trades are in favor of War. The engagement is going their way. It's now Sukri in a 1 versus 3 to stop this from going around 11.
Just ringing off shots. War are just playing this fine. War are playing this completely correctly. Bide their time. You're the attacker. You've got to come to me. We've got everything to lose. Yeah, no, a very heads-up experienced play there. It's these battles that they just seem to win, right? I mean, Journey goes absolutely huge. And it's just that SMG presence that they just possess in this squad that is so damn dangerous. I mean, you flick that over towards the SMGs of Mavericks. Eric Boom struggling in this one. He didn't have a clean start. He did have 1 or 2 good plays, but it's not been his map. Yeah, in round 11. And it looks like we're going to see again that big clash at A, but the numbers are going to be in favor of War.
They are indeed. Mavericks, they're not sending as much press over towards A this time around. War just being cautious about this one. They don't want to lose first blood. Super, that's a nice play. Gets the information, gets the hell out of dodge, but he will give a little bit of pressure. Oh! The stick comes in from Lucky! And that's Super down for the count. Doesn't matter how safe you are. You're never safe from a nice Semtex. But there is going to be trades galore here. Eric Boom is in a horrific position. Needs to play hero. They almost line up for him. but it doesn't matter. Now it's Sukri in a 1 versus 2.
Well, we've seen 1v2 clutch so far tonight, Brody, but Sukri's got a lot to do here. He's got both war players on one side, at least. That's the one silver lining for him. But Metals is waiting for him. Metals reads something and actually has turned away. So maybe Sukri gets some timing. Maybe he gets in for something special here. But all the same, a difficult spot.
Very difficult indeed. He could catch Metals off guard. He will. Now 1 versus 1. Lucky goes for the challenge. Sukri picks up 2. And Mavericks the extra bullets into the body. Why the hell not? The force is very strong with this one. As Sukri gets a 1 versus 2 to close out game 2. And Mavericks, Andy, a 2-0 lead now in the series.
I mean, for me, I've plenty of credit to Mavericks. They did their job. They capitalized on all the mistakes. But I've got to be honest with you, Brody. War have thrown that away. I talked so much about how the First Bloods are very important in Moscow. In fact, if you look over things statistically, it's the most First Blood dominant map in the game. They take them 7-4, at least by my count anyway, and just regularly throw away maps. They're clutched up 1v2 twice, including in that round 11. I mean, gutter, bin, wherever you want to put it. I'm not sure what the Spanish word is for it, but they're in that blender right now. They're having a really tough time of it. Just no ice, really struggling.
No ice at all. Despite what the current Call of Duty menu would tell you, there is no ice at the moment for this Team War roster, as they now 2-0 down in this series, have to pull off a reverse sweep if they do not want to go to the losers bracket. What a performance, though, from Mavericks. In what I will say is a very tight search and destroy. This series has been extremely tight so far. As a matter of fact, with map number 1 going the way it did, and of course, around 11 search and destroy. Let's take a look, though, at our map set now to show you guys the maps going forward, of course, and exactly what happened in maps number 1 and 2. There you guys can see how close maps number 1 and 2 actually were, 250 to 237 and 6-5, both in favor of Mavericks. But going forward here, Andy, hey, look, if you're a fan of the Botez sisters, if you like a bit of chess, this is the map for you. We're going to be watching 3 of them in a row. We're going to checkmate for the remainder of this series.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I think that this map is a tough one when it comes to control and S&D, because S&D, you plant in the plane or you plant in the plane, basically, and it's going to be a case of who just manages to do that better. Whereas control, this is one where teams can very easily be pushed back, especially attacking teams. They can really struggle here. If you don't get a good start, you're pinned into a horrible spawn situation. It's such a hard one to win on attack. I think only Garrison would have been more difficult, and that's because of the location of that base. But yeah, I think that, I mean, 3 of these back-to-back, I mean, the hard point could be interesting, but control and S&D, we're going to see any mistakes really hammered home here.
Yeah, we are indeed. Now, the one positive here, I think, for War is, yes, you're 2-0 down in the series. I said there's 2 positives, right? Overall in the series, you're looking at a series which has been very close. Yes, you're 2-0 down, but it was a 13-point differential in the hard point. And then, of course, 1 round was the difference maker in the search and destroy. And I think the other thing here is War were one of the very first teams, and this is still the same starting 4 that we've had all season long for Team War. They were one of the very first teams, I feel, to crack checkmate control, to just stack points and such on this game. They knew how to play offenses, and that has been one of their strengths all season long. Now we'll see how they get along with Mavericks, though, on this map, as it is going to be Mavericks starting strong with some kills.
Mavericks managing to ping the first wave back, but look, he's going to sneak on through here, and these are the kind of things that you need to avoid as the defensive team. You need to make sure you're completely clearing things out, otherwise you leave yourself open to having your defense line sliced apart, and Lucky's going to take advantage of it for just a second before some kills do get answered back. And there's no real way in terms of, like, do you push A or do you push B on this map? It is purely preference for the team. There's no real strategy to that, but you've got to really apply to one of the hills and as you said, stack it in order to take advantage in this mode.
Absolutely, you do. War on offense at the moment. Haven't been given much of a chance to stack a point just yet. Now, though, over towards B is Invidiant. We'll be looking to make some progress. 1 tick would do the job for the moment. Got to deal with the pressure inside the plane, though. Eric Boom. Okay, comes in from behind, deals with all the pressure, gets free. Why the hell not? Because it's Eric Boom. He's just good like that. And Mavericks, immediately, they alleviate all the pressure in that one play.
They do. I thought we'd seen about our 19th stick in this series then for a second. That's exactly the kind of play that is super important in Control, because you need to be hitting things together. You need to be avoiding trades. And when 3 people are cut apart for War, I mean, there's several questions about how that third gunfight went down, but it's just, it absolutely decimates your attack plans. And this is last chance saloon for War to try and get some pressure here at A. Doesn't look likely.
Does not look likely. Metals and Journey, though, are going to get a couple of kills. Now they're on the point. Hey, trades in favor of Journey. Now, Journey will just need to waste a little bit of time here. I like the play from Lucky. You can see it on the minimap, actually, as he's just zoning. He knows that Yakko's in from behind. I think now Team War have realized that, actually, their priorities should just be make sure we get control of the point. But here's Yakko. The nuke has been blown up. And he's in from behind. A secret weapon from Mavericks. Will be only able to get one. Metal's going to fall off the point, though. Finally, Mavericks able to close out the round. You thought for a second there that War might be able to put another 60 seconds on the board.
Yeah, no, very close. They do nearly put that 60 seconds on, and great stuff to try and make that resilient play, if you will. But they were still considerably down on lives. They were 6 down. They only had about 6 or 7 left, and it would have been a case of perfect Call of Duty from there in order to see out a whole other point, Brody. You were saying about how they'd figured out this map before anyone else, and that is one thing. But that's a very long time ago, and I just had a quick look at the stats over the group games. War only won 2 of their controls out of 7 in the entire time that they played.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing as well. You look at the control on Garrison between these two teams in the group stage, it was a 3-0 to that Mavericks roster, right? So it doesn't bode well. War seem to have kind of stepped away from their dominant control that we know of them previously. We'll see if they're able to get back to that form, though, as Lucky's able to pick up 1. Jonan uses a fight inside the plane. Mavericks now have some pressure building up over towards B. They look to make some progression on there. And Team War, they have not a soul covering that B point at the moment. They will at least get 1 tick.
At least 1 tick, indeed. And all of a sudden, this is scramble stations for War, because they have to pick something to run towards. And they don't want to be seeing that in the kill feed, even though it works out slightly for them. For Lucky, they needed a situation where they completely cleared house. Doesn't happen. A's likely to come through. And at this point for War, you've got to batten down the hatches and really push out. Put Mavericks into that spawn trap that we were talking about. Otherwise, Mavericks are still going to be feeling good. Like they've caught a point, they're ahead on the tick, so it forces War into that round 5 position where they're having to go forward on an attack round. And wow, Brody, they're really punishing War in this one.
They are indeed really punishing War. Mavericks having one heck of a game. Yakko specifically, I want to call him out, 15-5. Being a big proponent for Mavericks at the moment. Not a soul from War is touching this. No chance. Not when Eric Boom's up there. He can do it all. AK-70 for your Ute. Krieg 6. It doesn't matter because Eric Boom is just a really good player. And Mavericks now have got themselves a second round on the board here. An offensive win at that. And War, I mean, look, their backs must be feeling pretty cold at the moment against a very cold War, because it's not looking good. You're a 2-0 down, and your next round is an offensive one.
Yeah, and we've seen them twice fall in super close moments. Round 11, one rotation comes in better than the other in the hard point, and they win. This is the first time we're seeing them be absolutely bodied. I mean, Metal 6 and 12, Invidian 4 and 9, they're really, really being put through it right now. Yakko absolutely having the time of his life, and we're about to find out what they're made of. We knew a while back that this team had great resilience, great character and spirit, but is this the same War side, or is there nothing left of them, and Yakko just putting them into the dirt?
Well, I'll tell you what, if there was something there for a War, I think Yakko just eviscerated it as he picks up 2 and will shut the door on a potential A push for a Team War. I think they've now decided to change their tune, go over towards B. This is going to have to be a heroic play coming in from Journey. He's able to pick up 1. That will distract this Maverick side, make them think it's a B hit while some progression's coming in from A. But look at this, in from behind. Super going to manipulate these spawns. It's going to force War to spawn out over towards Blue. And I'll tell you what, I mean, this is a problem because they know that as well. They know that somebody from Mavericks is in from behind. There it is. It doesn't matter. Team War able to pick up 4. And now we should start to see some serious progression from them. I need to see them push up here and really nail it into Mavericks.
Yeah, this has to be aggressive and it has to be confident. If they let this go, then you don't deserve to be in this elite game. That's quite simple. They take A with without really giving Mavericks a sniff. And B is going to be a case of they're still having to deal with some pressure here. So all three in the feed light up blue, and this is the problem that War have. They put themselves into a good little spot for half a second, and it's then just completely eviscerated, whether it is gun skill or whether it is purely, I mean, look at 7 again, Eric Boom rotating, and it's just causing those constant questions for War. They can't set up the way that they want to. They're constantly having to check over their shoulder. They are going to make some progress here, but I mean, it's still not comfortable.
It's true. And Yakko, again, he just wants to be an annoying presence. We'll take down 1. Will get shut down here, but you feel right, damage is done. That's still a little bit of presence that War would have wanted on the point. Super able to pick up 2. Now, the good news here is, for this War side, they've given themselves a 5 life advantage. They've still got 60 or so seconds to work with, and they only need 2 ticks of progression on this point to finally capture the zone and force a round number 4. This is more than possible for this War squad if they control the map correctly.
And Metals just looking to get up around that top side and cause some problems for this Mavericks side. Whilst Invidian's going to go absolutely huge with 3.
Okay, that should shut the door on this game. Mavericks now down to their final 6 lives, make it 5. War now on the point. The good news is for Mavericks, lives no longer really matter if it goes to round 5, so they can just try and hit this point and go all in on it. Yakko's able to pick up 1, but Invidian once again able to get another 2. That should be done. No, Eric Boom in from behind. Hello. He still has the power. Will finally fall though, but Sukri is now not done. He goes for the point. Now this should be done, surely. Sukri in a 1 versus 8. He's a pretty good player. Is he good enough to pull off a 1 versus 8? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if too many people are going to be able to pull off a 1v8 at this level. We've just had an update come through from the 3G game, I believe. Brody, take us through it.
Yeah, so I believe it's currently 1-1. I want to say, let me just check. It's 2-1. Okay, so it's 2-1 right now. Very interesting to hear. So we'll keep you guys updated. We do also have an observer in that matchup as well. So hopefully once this map's done, if we are in the hard point or what have you, we can send it over to that one, because that's the beauty of the production team here. We have some really talented guys behind the camera who will be able to bring that match to you as and when we can. For now, though, back to this Team War versus Mavericks game. Team War, they're not out of it yet.
They're not. They need to go and take the momentum they had from that last round and really run here and cause Mavericks to question their attack here, and it's just not that. It's just not the case. They look at Super here. He gets nice and aggressive. He's causing problems. Nearly wins a second gunfight onto Journey. Eric Boom is going to sniff out Lucky, and just like that, like if you look at your minimap, there's such a disparity between the locations of these players at times. They do win the individual gunfights, so it comes on through, but there's that lack of swarming presence that comes from the side that we used to know them for.
Indeed. War will now kind of want to squeeze the vice a little bit here onto this Mavericks lineup, as Invidian has been, I'd say, a pretty dominant force in this game so far. At least in the last round, he went on a mad spree. 25 seconds on the clock for Mavericks to do something. Metals picks up 2. Journey with another 1. That should shut the door in this game, short of something spectacular here. And that final kill will surely do it. Now, the interesting thing here is, with 15 seconds left, tick progression should technically, if Mavericks push doesn't work out here, go in favor of War for this round 5.
And that's why you can see them absolutely flooding right now, right? They're just looking for something, anything that will let them have that defensive round rather than offensive round. It isn't going to come through because Lucky's going to clean this one up. And all of a sudden, War have come back into this. And I need to stop talking bad about War, because I think it's actually influencing them. Because every time I do, they go on to do absolutely something brilliant. I talked about how they weren't swarming. Suddenly, they turn into that. This is what I'm talking about. Metals, happy to take on a second gunfight, happy to take on a third. And once you do get that kind of rhythm out of this side, they're incredibly difficult to stop. They've got the presence up through the front, and their SMGs are getting nice and aggressive. That's what we like to see. War will indeed take that defensive side. So all of a sudden, looking in complete control just a moment ago, Mavericks have it all to do, and you're gonna have to see a step up out of, I mean, I feel like not long ago we were saying Sukri and Eric Boom were doing really well, so they must have had a couple of bad rounds.
I think generally speaking, Mavericks, they seem to have kind of run out of steam here, and now they have to win an offensive round, something where Team War were able to completely shut the door on them in that last round. But Eric Boom now on A. Has the support coming in from Sukri and from behind. Yako isn't far off also. Oh, super. Little bit overconfident here. Getting ahead of himself as Invidian takes down Eric Boom from A. Super needs to play his life for Semtex. I'm not sure what that Semtex was really intending to do, but it doesn't do anything, of course. And now Team War, they've regained map control.
Yeah, the Mavericks are going to be looking into their final 60 seconds here, and all of a sudden staring defeat down the barrel. They've really got to go big. The first kill from Suckley will be good, but it's traded back out, and suddenly War are doing to Mavericks what Mavericks were doing to War not very long ago, in the sense of, we're not going to let you build up anything. We're not going to see 2 or 3 in the feed. We're just going to keep trading it out. If you do manage to get on the point, the progression is slow, and I mean, if you do manage to get on the point, that is, because at the minute you're being kind of regularly pinned back. Look how that position there from Journey causing them super deep spawns, and Journey's going to get blessed here.
I would like to see Mavericks just try and concentrate on swarming 1 point, because right now Journey in from behind, he causes some problems, getting real Yako vibes from him. And Mavericks, you need to concentrate on 1 objective at the moment. Yeah, right, send some players through to cause some havoc, but beyond that, you need to make sure you get one of these points, because you are very fast running out of time in this one, and with those wave of kills, that should shut the game down as Team War, they were 2-0 down. What a turnaround from them. A dominant last couple of rounds from the War Boys, as they are far from done in this series. There could be a little bit of pushback here from Mavericks, but a couple of kills will close it out, and there it is. War now 2-1 down still, but not out.
Could that be our moment, Brody? Could that be the time where we see a change in this series? Because I feel like literally moments ago we were saying, War, they lost 2 super close ones. They're now getting put through the blender. And it looked like a foregone conclusion, really. Suddenly, they turn up a gear. I'm not sure where. I literally said that they weren't swarming like they used to. Suddenly they do. Something in the chat must have popped. Somewhere, someone blessed them, and they've gone absolutely huge. 3 rounds on the bounce. Not easy to do in any control, let alone checkmate control. And deservedly still in this series. We're going to stick with checkmate going forward, but, I mean, that control map is as good as you can ask for War.
Yeah, this control map, what a turnaround from them. After being 3-0'd on Garrison control versus these guys, they were 2-0 down. It looked like it was done. It really did. I thought I was ready to push the storyline. Hey, look, the hard point in search and destroy, that was real close. The control, absolutely, it was not. But, I mean, what a close control. 3-2, a reverse sweep in the control from War keeps them alive in this series and their hopes of making it to the winners final in this very small knockout bracket here in the playoff stages of Challengers Elite Stage 3 in Europe alive. Right. Well, let's take a look at our map set very briefly here to talk about how the series does currently look. Of course, we're not moving away from checkmate. We are going to go back to checkmate for a hardpoint and potentially search and destroy to close out this series. Of course, I'm not exactly sure how our other match is getting on right now between Team 3G and August. Last we heard, it was 2-1 to Team 3G. And if everything stays as is right now, Team War and August could well face off for elimination. Let's have a look at this August versus Team 3G though matchup though, Andy. Things looking spicy as we head into the hard point.
No idea. I mean, I don't know who took which maps in terms of we've already had a hard point here, but the fact that this one is in, I mean, look, 3G have proven themselves this stage to be a true thorn in anyone's side. August haven't looked as good as they had over the past couple of weeks. So, I mean, even though it is a surprise to see 3G leading in terms of maps here, they've looked really good. And that man, Harry, who's just gone and picked up a 3-piece, the star man of recent, he's going to need to really put up something here in order to ensure we see them in winners, not in losers.
This is his map as well. Generally speaking, you talk about August on a map such as this is Harry's map by far and away. Every time this map comes up, Harry has a good performance. I expect much of the same here from this August roster going forward in this map right now. They do hold control of the P2 hardpoint though. Team 3G wanted to come on through and get control of it. Niall only able to pick up 1 before falling, but the presence from Team 3G still being felt here as kids inside, he will fall. Now it's going to be Keza trying to come in through the back line, but at this point, you're just fighting for scraps. Just 1 more player to deal with for Team 3G, and they'll get it. It's going to be Nasty, surely dead to rights, and he will be. And that is going to be Team 3G picking up that scrap time.
It will indeed. Nasty, they're just about doing enough to keep it so that 3G continue to be delayed for getting towards 3. The thing is, 3, if you don't get there early, it doesn't really matter. You can contest it from absolutely everywhere. And a lot of teams go with an extremely compact setup for it. So you really can swarm this hill nice and at any time of it being popped. So we're going to see a rotation here come in, and all of a sudden, August pick up all 3 in that feed. So they can establish that presence here, get across the map, control plane, force a deep wood spawn. And that's not only good for this hill, but that means when they do rotate into northern containers, if they can keep pinning them back, they can get set up very well and early. But Beans, for some reason, has spawned over here in American, and just like that, that's going to be the problem for August, and August will maintain the scrap. But I expect 3G to be able to get themselves set up into the next one.
As do I. You can never count out a squad like 3G out. You talk about them this season, of course, bringing kids onto the lineup in favor of Detain. We spoke about it on the Bloody Amateurs podcast, right? These guys, they have definitely recovered from that roster change. I think much better than Detain did over on that obtained roster. For now, though, looking at this one, we look at the engagement about to go down over towards Crates, and look at the kills going in favor of Team 3G. Nile now on a 4 spree. August, they are wiped away. And Nile's streak still alive also. Now finds himself on a 5 in a row, 6 in a row. Get on board with Nile. I want to see what he's up to, as he is just 1 kill shy of a score streak being earned. One player has actually spawned out over in Narnia. That's going to be Vortex. Could have been a problem for Nile, but will stay alive for the moment.
Yeah, and the spawn situation here is turning into an absolute bloodbath. Both teams at times spawning in the same location, just with a couple of seconds difference. It is going to be August, though, who've got themselves a scrap here. They're set up for the wood push, and what 3G need to do here is be super aggressive, cut this August line apart, and get themselves round the back. But just like that, that plan is going to be pulled apart, and they need their ARs to go massive here, because this is a situation where if you are Harry, you know, we've spoken about how it's his map and so on and so forth, he can really get posted up on a long line here and cause plenty of trouble. The kind of trouble that an SMG is not going to want to have to deal with.
And Nile's still looking for these streaks as well. Beans actually just baited out for him there. They know how important these score streaks can be, but he takes so long trying to earn them. August are able to get quite a lot of time, and that is huge for this game. You earn those streaks, it eventually provides an in for Team 3G in this game. Now you kind of need to do it all by yourselves. And when Vortex picks up 2 kills like that, well, hey, it is really hard to do it as August firing on all cylinders right now. Team 3G don't even look like they're in the game. Nasty now on a 5 spree of his own. If he earns these score streaks, it could prove disastrous for this squad. Nasty now just 1 kill away from doing it, and kids may well provide the food. Can he eat the meal, though? There it is. Nasty picks up another 1 as well, and another 2. That's 4 streaks coming in from Nasty, and August here looking pretty good.
Looking very, very good. And Vortex as well is going to spawn right in behind the 3G line. So just when they think, okay, we know where everyone is, they get bullied straight away. And P2 is absolutely huge. Vortex wins. And this is very close to saying, see you later, 3G. It put you in that 100 club, because with the pressure that August now have built up, and with those streaks in their pocket, 3G have got an absolute mammoth task to do. Kids 9 and 17, Keza 8 and 17. I can't remember ever seeing a stat line like that out of him, truly being put through the blender right now. And the August side here, building up all of this momentum and looking so strong again. We haven't seen earlier on in the series, but this only bodes well for taking them to that map 5, feeling very confident and looking very good for the win.
What an incredible map this has been from August here. It's just been so dominant all throughout. Team 3G. Got to find a way back in. How do you even find a way back in? I mean, that would be the question I ask here, because August have pretty much got every single rotation locked down. They have done so well in making sure that is the case, and it's just been a dominant performance from them all game long.
I can't remember the last time I saw, I mean, I'm literally about to say multiple 3G kills in the feed, and Kids goes and gets his first 2-piece of the game. So I just think that how many times now have we seen August? You know, it's all 3, it's all 4. There's multi-kills coming up from Vortex and the rest of the team. Everyone's on streaks, and if you don't have slaying power, it doesn't matter how good your rotations are in hard point and so on and so forth. You've got to at least be able to put up a fight. You've got to get a couple of trades, cut down some offensive and defensive setups, and it's just not happening for 3G. And the thing is as well, if you're in that chat right now, you probably know that this is done and dusted, because August are just sitting on multiple streak sets, and they're just like, okay, well, we'll use them if you manage to make this even remotely close. We're going to rotate over to P3, which is, again, that contesty hill, and Vortex hits another spree just before he falls. And yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a bloodbath for 3G. They have really stepped up this stage, but they look a class out of it here.
Yeah, they're just being outclassed. It really is that simple here for August. There's now 12 seconds is all they need to close out game number 4. Team 3G, they are nowhere close. August, I mean, they're pretty comfortable in this position. They can actually hop out the hard point for a moment. They know, I mean, they don't know they're going to win, but the high likelihood of a scoreline like this is that's exactly what's going to happen here, as Team 3G now trying to swarm in. August just looking for the last 7 seconds of time. Surely they'll get it eventually, right? Vortex and Harry get 3. 1 player left. It's going to be Beans to try and stop this one. Nope, they're not going to be able to. August get in, and that is a dominant performance here from August in game number 4. Niall leaves the party because he knows his stats were probably not that pretty at the end of that game, but we're now going to switch our focus back over to our main matchup here between Mavericks and Team War.
Yeah, Mavericks starting off super hot, and they need to make that bounce back after what just happened in that control. They've had that little bit of a breather. They need that time to reset themselves, fly into the first hill, get all 4 down. Sukri's going to pick up 5. They have the safe side for P2, and Mavericks off to a really good start and answering the questions that I was about to throw at them. Do you let your mental suffer after giving up the control the way they did, or do you say, no, we're in the lead of this one, we've looked really good, we're going to take the fight to you?
I don't know, man. I mean, Mavericks, they are just in such a powerful position generally, but I mean, that was a massive swing game in game number 3. I mean, it wasn't even, they were down 2-0 to get back in the way that they did for Team War. The momentum will absolutely be in their favor going into this map. We'll see whether or not they're able to carry that in their favor. Is looking at this rotation for the moment, Mavericks have done a stellar job at getting the majority time off the back of P1. Now we look at P2 also, and they have broken in for this time. Team War, I think, with 1 more hit potentially, and then that should be it. You want to focus on the rotation.
Yeah, you do indeed. And Journey here, just trying to cause some problems. Will get 2. Great stuff out of him. He's sniffing around for a 3rd, possibly a 4th, and but that one's going to be a bit too far. War will be in a place where they, well, never mind, as they spread out really, really wide, try and get that wide setup that they go with on this hill, and Fall trying to make it. So Mavericks bully their way back towards the hill. Yakko's going to go into a massive power position here, because if you get control of this plane, especially if you manage to post an AR up in there, you have got coverage of so many angles and can cut down the enemy team before they even touch it.
Mavericks once again in for the rotation here. Sukri able to put the first kill off the back of it. Team War, you've got to find your way in pretty quickly. Do not want to let this game spiral out of control. But honestly, I don't think they have much saying at this point. Team War, they're being battered away, spawning out over towards Wood. Mavericks are doing a stellar job at controlling the map. Playing control, of course, is paramount to a map such as this. Yakko able to pick up 2. Yakko able to pick up 3. Now on a 4 spree also. And Mavericks here just in control of this game. This is a stark difference to what happened in map number 3. And what a bounce back from a mental perspective from them.
Yeah, I was concerned. You know, you think that you've got the Series C now. You're against a team like War. Do you buckle a little bit underneath that pressure? This is a huge moment for this Mavericks side. Winning here puts them through to what is effectively the winners' finals of this playoff bracket. And it's a big, big part of their season here, you feel. And they come out and absolutely bully War. That being said, Lucky 4-11, Metals 5-11. They're not having great individual performances, by the way. Mavericks are doing all the work for sure, and they're doing a great job of it. But from War, you look at those stat lines and you think, where are their star players right now? What are they doing?
Yeah, Team War right now, I mean, yeah, they're not there. It's really as simple as that, right? I mean, we normally expect these star performances out of players such as Journey, such as Metals, such as Lucky, such as Nvidia. I know I've kind of just reeled off the whole roster, but I mean, it's true. This roster is a really talented team, and they've been able to put together some incredible victories in the past, of course, culminating in that stage 1 victory They will able to walk away with the top prize there. But as it currently stands, Mavericks outclassing them here in the hard point. However, good news, okay, potentially on the horizon. Nvidia was on a 5 spree, but does get shut down. War have managed to get in from behind, though, and this could be the start of a comeback if they're able to hold on this time.
It's the first bit of solid hardpoint play I've seen out of them during this game. Nvidian makes a long rotation, bullies his way through concrete and red, and gets in round the back, picking up a 5 spree. Unfortunately, falls short just before he can get the artillery in, but it's the first time I've seen them do something that looks remotely impressive in this game. That being said, we're going to see Mavericks answer back with a couple kills of their own, get the contest in, and Journey's going to be left to do the last bits of work. It won't happen. Trades will go about, so War cling on for now. And we're going to go back into the first hill. And to be fair, this situation was looking a lot worse not long ago. War starting to get that momentum back in. Mavericks need to get themselves back on that footing that they had just a moment ago, which is the front one. And 2 kills, bully their way into the first hill. That's a good start.
And Team War have done a really good job actually at closing the gap off what was a pretty dominant hold on P5. But now we return to P2, or P1, sorry. And it is Mavericks once again in control. War are not going to want to give up this time. Metals is in a position where he could potentially make a great play. At the very least, just going for a contest. And I really love this play. Don't make an overzealous play here. Just wait for your teammates to come on through. That's exactly what happens. Journey able to pick up a few. And look at this break from War. A spectacular one at that. And now here's a problem from Mavericks. You don't have any control over P1. There's 20 seconds left. The rotation is fast approaching. And you're spawning on the other side of the map.
You are, and we just saw a bit of that teamwork that we've been saying has been missing from this squad for so long. They just bide their time. Whoever it is, I think it was Metals who like crept into the point, took his time, waited. My teammates here, okay, now I can do something because I know that my boys are here to back me up. We've seen them not do that so many times in the recent games that we've been watching over them, and all of a sudden, it's just there. I don't understand what this team is. One minute they look like they don't belong here, the next minute they're the Team War of old, and they're gonna very possibly here, they're set up for 2. They could bring this back level. With not moments ago, we were again saying like, oh, okay, this is getting away from War. Looks like Mavericks are through. Eric Boom's got to go huge.
Eric Boom has got to go huge. They don't know he's here. They do now. Turns around for the second kill. The slap against Lucky is not to be. And Mavericks are removed from this hard point. Team War now in a position to take the lead here in game number 4, Andy. As Mavericks can't find their way in. They're going one by one. That's the huge problem here, and that just doesn't work against a squad like Team War. When they are set up well, they're set up well, and that is exactly what's happening in Vidian. Now on yet another 4 spree, Team War doing a stellar job at holding on to that time. They should take the lead away from Mavericks here for the first time in this game.
They will, and then, well, no, it was going to end up completely level. My math's slightly off, but we do see Mavericks get themselves in first for the 3rd hill, but this is the one that we talk about that is just, you never know who's got control of it, really, because you might be in the hard point, but you can get shot from pretty much everywhere and anywhere, and the setup that you need here is one that's going to force a super deep spawn. I love Super's position there. He's just trying to cause them a bit of problem in trying to get anywhere near the hill for starters, and you are going to see Lucky and Metal spawn all the way out in that far corner. But even still, with it being a middle of the map hill, you can get to it super quick. This is very far from being a controlling position for Mavericks. And for me, every time that War do something poorly, Mavericks have the quality to punish it. But when War are doing well, Mavericks do not have the answer to that. And that is the difference in this game right now.
Well, it is Mavericks ahead for the moment. Super gets a spree. There it is. So the artillery strike has been earned. 1 more kill and it's a cruise missile also. That is deadly because War do not have those streaks in the back pocket for the moment. Mavericks in the rotation also. Again, this could be a huge moment. It would blow open the game once again if Mavericks are able to hold onto this hill. But Metals and Journey, they're able to pick up 2. Lucky with another one as well. And Team War now looking to break on through. What a very important early break from them.
Yeah, it's just a panicked setup. They don't really... You have Sukri at the front, led at the front box with a Krig in his hand, and Yako with his SMGs all the way down the other end. That should be reversed. There needs to be a bit of communication there, a bit of thought process around that defensive setup. War take advantage, push their way in, and now, honestly, with the way they're set up and where Journey is headed, if they get round this back concrete and in through red, you can see them taking this momentum and establishing a really good lead, Brody. And he does fall eventually, and that's the silver lining for Mavericks, but we're still on this 10 seconds of contest, and War can get across, can contest this, but Mavericks will at least get themselves set up for it.
I can't believe how close this game is at the moment. Mavericks and War effectively neck and neck here as we go into the final hard point of the rotation. Mavericks in control for the moment. War want to make their way in from behind. Break in for those spawns. Out the back of concrete. There's the first kill from Yakko. Oh, it's going to be Journey. He's able to pick up one. Takes down Yakko, but it's not enough. Mavericks in with the trade, and they hold on to the time. Team War need to break this. You can't let Mavericks have all this time. Otherwise, game over. You're in the loser's bracket. Here they come. Invidian, he's going to fall, though. Every single gunfight seems to be going Mavericks' way, but Journey picks up two, and it will open up this hard point for a War for the moment. And there's the support coming in. What a massive break from them.
Yeah, and I was asking a minute ago, where are your star players, War? Journey, with a disgusting display of gun skill, but this is not necessarily the situation that War wants to be in, because you're going to see Maverick swarming all over the hill. Journey's got to go massive again, picks up another two. Lovely stuff out of him, and this is about to be a absolute bloodbath here over one.
Yakko has to do something. Yakko has to win this fight, but Journey continues it now on a 5 spree. Every single kill is going War's way. They can now sit pretty in this hard point and start earning the time. Mavericks, they've spawned apart. They've got parallel spawns splintered on the map, but this could open up an opportunity to go and crush the hard point. They squeeze the vice. They get the time, and now Team War spawning out. I don't think anybody's going to be close enough to put a stop to this. Not if Mavericks are positioned correctly. Journey's able to pick up one, and somehow War have touched the point, but Super and Yakko combined for 3. There's number 4, and Mavericks put the lid on the game. War, they made that interesting, but Mavericks are the one that put the pen down writing this story.
Oh, I love that line, Brody. That's such a good one. I really like that. Now, the thing is, for War just get off to a horrible start. They get off to such a poor go at it. They really looked out of it. You would have thought that it was War who were reverse... Is it reverse swept? Is that the correct terminology for the control? Anyway, you would have thought that it was War who'd been undone in that control with the way this game started, because they came out sluggish. It's Mavericks who come out on fire, and that early lead that they built up is enough to see them through. And I spoke about how, you know, the Mavericks didn't have the quality to make their own plays, but they were quality enough to punish War. Well, they make me eat my words, because they came out there at the end, and when they needed to, they collapsed big and took that winning hill.
Just crazy. It really is just crazy. There is a universe there where War, they're able to close out. Journey makes an incredible play, by the way. So I think it was a 5 or a 6 spree he ended out on inside the plane to take it. I mean, what was that mission in Modern Warfare? It looked like he'd been practicing on that for this map at the moment. He just a Mile High Club, I think it was, where you have to like take the plane and slice up all the corners and stuff. And Journey apparently has been practicing that as his pit runs, because he made that look easy. But again, it's just a surge coming in through from that Mavericks team. They look stellar at the moment, and they look scary, I think is the way that I would describe it. You know, 3-1ing, once again, this War roster, same scoreline that we saw from the round robin stage. They look confident. Of course, they've only lost to 2 teams in stage 3 so far. Of course, that's Amelia Strays and Elevate, the teams that finished above them in the round robin stage and have already made their way into the playoffs. So from Mavericks, they'll be feeling confident going into the qualification match that we're following this one. But let's take a look at our map set to again show you guys how everything did break down for this series.
Yeah, no, it's super close all the way through. Raid was settled in 1 rotation. Checkmate, 1 rotation. Moscow, that's a 1v2 round 11 that Mavericks went on to win. And the control, this is a map that could very easily have been Mavericks as well. And you see War come back and clutch up. And for me, it was just about who made the big plays at those moments. And it just wasn't War. And so often throughout the early stage of the year, we'd see them time and time again come together in those big moments. This time it was Mavericks, and you've got to give them all the props. They've been quite a surprise package throughout the stage, but there was nothing here that suggested that they don't deserve to be at this level in the long run, because when that important moment came about, they saw it through, and they did. I mean, they do look really good for whoever they go on to play next. And as you rightly said, they didn't lose to either of these teams that they could possibly face next.
Yeah, this is going to be good for Mavericks. I think they'll be feeling pretty confident about making that playoffs bracket. Of course, for those of you not in the know, Amelia Strays and Elevate already there. Today is about finding the final 2 teams to make it into the final 4 bracket, which is going to be held tomorrow. But we are not done here with this stream. We'll be covering the elimination match casted by the wonderful Spaceman, Ali, and Fox. I say the wonderful Ali and Fox. Spaceman, of course. Sean is Sean. We do love Sean, but I don't know if wonderful is the word I'd use. And they're going to be casting I think it's the qualification matchups, the winners bracket final and the losers bracket final of this mini bracket we've got going on here in the knockout stages of European Elite. And of course, as we go on throughout the day, we'll also be covering the North American Elite knockout bracket for stage 3, both on this community stream and on the main stream over at youtube.com/COD Challengers. For now, though, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll have the elimination match between this War roster and either 3G or August. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
To death, I guess I'm not over it. Feels like a heart attack. Could this breath be my last? Is this how it ends? But if I make my head stop spinning, will my heart stop too? Lost myself trying to hold on to you. Trying to hold on to you. Where are you tonight? I can't get you out of my mind. Where are you tonight? 'Cause I still feel like I could fly blind. Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight? Have I seen you for the last time? feeling so dangerous. I can't get ahead, and I've had enough. I'm feeling so dangerous. I get this feeling when I'm running on empty, like I'm on fire and there's nothing left to burn. The chance to blow it all to hell is so tempting. It's now or never, 'cause you never learn. I get up, I get down, kiss the sky, hit the ground. Don't know why, don't know how. I get high, I get low. I got no place to go. Like my fuse, I'll explode. I'm losing my head, I'm all out of touch. I'm feeling so dangerous. I can't get ahead, and I've had enough. I'm feeling so dangerous. I get this feeling when I'm so close to breaking. I can't see straight and my vision blurs. I get up, I get down, kiss the sky, hit the ground. Don't know why, don't know how. I get high, I get low. I got no place to go. Like my fuse, I'll explode. I'm losing my head, I'm all out of touch. I'm feeling so dangerous. I can't get ahead, and I've had enough. I'm feeling so dangerous. I'm dangerous, so dangerous. I'm dangerous, so dangerous. I'm dangerous, so dangerous. I'm dangerous, so dangerous. I'm losing my head, I'm all out of touch. I'm feeling so dangerous. I'm losing my head, I'm all out of touch. I'm feeling so dangerous. I can't get ahead, and I've had enough. I'm feeling so dangerous. I'm losing my head, I'm all out of touch. I'm feeling so dangerous. I'm feeling so dangerous. I suppose I ignored every warning. Stepped unhealthily close to the edge. Oh, but I can't recall when I started to hate all the things that used to give me bliss. Can you please say tonight? 'Cause I'm so inside of you that's ugly. Tells me how I'm supposed to be. Tell me it's not how it seems. Oh yeah, you pressure me. You say I love you too much. You only want me when I'm home. And then when I'm gone, you'll be on to better things. I'm losing you, even after what we've been through. I feel like I don't know you anymore. You make me feel delusional. I can barely cope. Feels like I don't know you anymore. You say I love you too much. You only want me when I'm home. And then when I'm gone, you'll be on to better things. I'm losing you, even after what we've been through. I feel like I don't know you anymore. You make me feel. I'm faith in you. When you say I love you too, I feel like I don't know you anymore. You make me feel. Apathy, you never care for the little things. I got sympathy, you'll never know how it really is. I'm losing you, even after what we've been through. I feel like I don't know you anymore. You make me feel. You hate the songs I wrote. You make me feel alone. A million lies from home. I'm taking you approach. So put my life on hold. You make me feel. You'll be on a better thing.
Les gens pensent que le temps est une simple progression de cause à effet. Mais en vérité, d'un point de vue non linéaire, d'un point de vue non subjectif, c'est plutôt une sorte d'énorme boule où le temps s'enchevêtre comme un méli-mélo très complexe.
I'm always here and there. Oh, I fear of missing out and hate what I've become. And I'm torn. A handshake, a smile, yeah, the blink of an eye. Everything that can change your life in a minute. Ooh, probabilities, which way is made for me? Don't know who I wanna be. Under my skin. J'ai sans le temps qui défile et je vacille. Under my skin. J'entends l'horloge qui m'appelle et me défie. I'm always here and there. Oh. Victory of a fear. I don't wanna waste all my years. I'm just getting older every minute. Ooh, it's a fun, it's a fuss. There's nothing I can do about it. Time to roll the dice. Under my skin. Je sens le temps qui défile et je vacille. Under my skin.
I'm such a silly boy. I was muted. I had a really nice intro there as well, but apparently that's gone out the window. Anyway, hi everybody, how you doing? Now you can hear my silky smooth voice as we get ready to go between 3G and Team War. One of these teams is going home, Andy.
Yeah, no, they are indeed. This is for literally everything in regards to your elite status, because lose this one and you're going back through qualifiers for the next stage season. And I think that here as well is where we're going to see those teams that have their backs against the wall. What are they made of when they get to that point? We've seen War now several times kind of fall short at the hurdle. They only made it to this point through someone else's result. So I really have questions for them. And then when it comes to 3G, well, I mean, they've done really well to get this far in the first place, but this is their big first, extremely crucial moment now.
It is indeed. Team War, they haven't had a good stage really at all, to be honest, and now this is their opportunity to get back into this. Backs against the wall, maybe that's when War perform the best. We'll see how they're able to perform in an Apocalypse hardpoint. Now, last time these two teams faced off, Andy, it was actually War coming out on top 250 to 231. That is, of course, in their only matchup versus 3G at all with their current rosters, where that was a 3-2 victory to War. So that will certainly spice things up going into this.
Yeah, and I want to see, I mean, I didn't get to see that game in particular, but I would love to see the adjustments that both teams apply. For example, 3G here, they're doing the right thing, contesting over one, but they're like, we're going to keep two. This is the big hill, the money hill here, right at the start of things. They've taken a pretty strong lead, to be fair, off of the first one, but two is where a lot of the dollars are earned, and Keza will get cut down trying to hold that backside. You are going to get 3G spawning out, so suddenly War break through, getting a rotation in at the right time. They're not there first, which is something we're seeing a lot out of this team right now, but can they break through?
Can they break through indeed? Team 3G, they're here for the moment. They're in for the majority of time. And hey, this is, I mean, I know there's been a lot of comparisons made to Hackney Yard with this map, and a lot of them are fair. It's maybe not as intensive in that manner, but still, if Team 3G go ahead by a large margin off the back of these two hard points, it's not the end of the world for Team War. However, they're going to want to put a stop to that before it can happen. They want a slice of that hard point pie. It's a pretty tasty one as well, as Lucky's able to pick up two. There we go. Team War, they at least remove 3G for the moment. Beans trying to have the final say, but he does not. That's 20 seconds. That will be going War's way.
Pretty tasty indeed. Nice little end to that period for War. And Jenny's trying to get nice and aggressive up this left-hand side. And that's what you really want to see here. This should be such an SMG's haven. They should be able to get super aggressive here, use all of the different routes, the ups and downs, and the different bits of verticality that they're going to allow them to basically show how much of a route player they are. Can they get up in the faces of the ARs and put some serious pressure in?
That's the question. Can they? Lucky looking at fly forward here. Doesn't even get the first kill, actually. Keza takes him down. Does take his teammate down in the process here. So 3G's presence been somewhat diminished by that unfortunate play. Nvidian now takes down War, and I love this proactive movement coming in from War. They kind of know they need to position a little bit advanced for that next rotation, so they send Nvidian up to make a bit of a difference. Unfortunately, he isn't able to. Again, though, War not in a terrible position here with 20 seconds left. They look to hold on to the scrap time, and if Team 3G is smart about the rotation, they will give it to them.
They will indeed, and that's exactly what's going to happen in front of us here as they try and set up. And the thing is about this next hill is that it can either go... you often see teams either go absolutely massive here or absolutely awful. There's no kind of in-between. This isn't one of those super contesty hills in the sense of a team gets a lot of time and then they lose it. What you often see here is a team is either completely bullied out or completely forces their way in. And right now, all the gunfights that are important are going the way of 3G. Niall managing to keep himself alive, but there is going to be a flip in the spawn that comes through. So this could be the pincer right here.
Niall looking to cause some damage, of course. As you say, you've got Lucky over towards the letterbox. Unfortunately, both players, though, lose their gunfights. Niall able to hold on for two, and now on a 5 spree is Niall. If he can chain together a couple more kills, streaks will be on board, and that is huge for an open map like Apocalypse. Can he earn them? That's the question. He goes out, gets a little bit overzealous. Journey and Nvidian are going to punish, and now it's just kids inside for the last 15 seconds of time. He is actually able to pick up one, but too little too late there, as War are able to break in for that last 5 or 6 seconds of time. Beans needed to play his life there, unfortunately isn't able to, and as soon as he falls on this rotation, Andy, Team War, they're pretty content with spawning over in this next hard point.
They are, and I think this is going to be an interesting period for War now because they finally set up early. They finally put themselves in a position where the hill is theirs and they have to repel 3G, and all the kills are going to go their way, so great stuff from them. We know that this team have fantastic gun skill. It's just whether or not they respect some of those fundamentals that Hardpoint brings with it. And you're seeing them set up, you're seeing them hold off 3G. This is a nice hill to get yourself set up in, as attacks are relatively straightforward. But that being said, 3G are going to continue one last go at this before we start to head into our P1 again. And at the end of the first rotation, War are likely to be in the lead here, but it is relatively neck and neck. It's a close one, but 3G did have that lead, so definitely a better end for War as we look to go again.
Indeed, 3G at the moment. And a hard point on rotation. This has been an incredibly close one so far. 3G in the better position in terms of spawns for the eventual rotation, but for right now we want to focus on this hard point. Team 3G looking to come on through. Niall has a little bit of work to do, unfortunately for him. He and Keza kind of scramble for the kills and they don't get anything off the back of it. War, they're in for the time. Kids will pick up too, but again, doesn't really amount to much here as Team War able to hold onto this hard point. Keza is now taken down. And now if you're a Team War with this wave of kills, Journey, no way do you get that kill against Niall. Niall going to back away for the sake of his life. War now will focus on this rotation, and as Team 3G spawn out on the other side of this map, this is huge for them.
It is. I'm not quite sure what Metal's play was here, actually, because War looked like that they were going to have a route in. It was an effective 3v2 situation, then he backs off away from it. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think it would have been much smarter to instead rotate in for two, but War are better COD players than me, so we're going to go with it for now. Looking at individuals very quickly, Journey, 17 and 11, having a great game. We watched him get that 3-piece, and he's bullying himself in for these P2 spawns. Absolutely massive. Metal's 14 and 8. Flip side of things, Keza 6 and 18. Really not having a good series. We saw him struggling against August. He's struggling again here, Brody.
Indeed he is. Team 3G now looking to hold on to this time. They need it realistically to make sure that War don't start to walk away with this game. It's Lucky and Metals over here looking to break on through. Beans, though, able to hold on for the first kill, not the second, as War surge on through for this last 25 seconds of time. And 3G, I think, deciding, hey, look, that's 25 seconds. It's inconsequential in comparison to the time we could earn on a potential rotation, so they make this rotation happen. But Invidian, how much does he have to say about it? How loud can your voice be? Apparently not that loud, as he's only able to get one before falling.
Puts himself in a nice spot, but does not take advantage. But Lucky's going to try and punch through the front, takes down two, will eventually drop. And the thing is here for 3G is you're still spawning a long way away, and War have a basic direct route onto this. Beans is going to have to do very well. Does not do well enough despite all of his hard work. Keza finally shows us the kind of quality that he possesses with two, and 3G get the nearby spawns. It's going to benefit them for just now, but they need to be perfect here because they are well and truly behind War. And War looked good last time when we came to these end hills, and I would fancy them to be good again.
Indeed, that was a huge break for War, quite frankly, to get in and really crush the hopes and dreams of 3G. They give up a ton of time over towards P2, so this P3 break for Team War, it might not shut the door on this game, but it will certainly help them get some muscles on the arms to close it. What do Team 3G do on the rotation? Well, hey, that's a pretty good rotation from them. They're able to win the first couple of gunfights, key to making sure you stay alive in this game. Now it is about the whole. Team War looking to come in from behind. You've got Invidian and Journey making the journey. Invidian picks up two, and now all of a sudden, 3G, they are facing the pressure in a 3 versus 4. Kids with the opening gunfight. Niall with a second, though. The hold looking to come on through from 3G.
Yeah, now goes absolutely massive. It's Metals who was on the rotation, looking to set up a pinch, looking to complete a collapse here that would have really seen the end of the game for 3G. As I said, this is like a secret money hill, really. No one really talks about it, but you really can rack up some great time on this one, and War will bully themselves in for just enough that means that they can win it right here.
They can indeed. 3G, though, they are spawning in the backline. You need to make a good push, and you need to coordinate it right now between yourselves. Lucky's able to pick up one, though. Team 3G still got the pressure, but it's not enough. Team War able to boil pressure of their own over Team 3G. They've got one player who could potentially put a stop to this. He's not going to be able to do it. Niall coming through the chicken coop. Can he get any more than one kill? No, he cannot. Too little, too late. And War able to close the door on game number 1. Team 3G. They had a couple of moments there, a couple of crucial breaks from War where realistically we didn't see enough of a response.
We didn't, and it comes to me for the SMGs. Like you should have so much fun here. You see Invidion on one as well. You should, as an SMG, be taking your aggression and your movement and everything into a map like Apocalypse, and you just saw Kezza's getting completely blown out. They really couldn't match the pace and aggression that War had with them. War showed the bit of quality that they have. The thing is, they're showing it against 3G, and with all respect to 3G, this is a team that War would be expecting to beat, and not necessarily in the losers either.
Yeah, to 3G here, I think, they did lose their stage 3 round robin matchup to War. I think that is something to note here. War, they only beat 2 teams, and 3G was one of them. Of course, the other one was Pushing Gaming, who were quite frankly terrible in stage 3. So War, I think this was their only big win. Realistically speaking, if you were to talk about good teams in stage 3, that victory versus Team 3G. But it did go to game 5, so War not out of the woods just yet, despite what I would describe as a pretty convincing game 1 victory. Let's take a look at our map set then for the first time in this series. Of course, we kind of got thrown straight into map number 1, and we can finally break down how this series is going to go. Now, we do have 2 returning maps from the last time, or 3 technically. One we've already just seen returning from the last time these 2 teams faced off. Of course, it was Moscow Search and Destroy and Raid Search and Destroy. Both were played in these 2's last face-offs. Moscow Search and Destroy, the one we're about to see, that went 6-4 in favor of War, and that was the game 5 in which War came out on top.
And what is interesting about that, if that was in the group games that you said it was, then that means that 3G only lost one other S&D throughout their entire group time. So 3G have a really good S&D record. They're clearly a strong side at it. And despite that previous loss, I still feel that 3G can take what they've shown throughout this stage and apply it here. Moscow is as well a map. We've already seen it tonight, and we've seen, they lost it in dramatic fashion, but War did lose this just a moment ago against Mavericks. And I think here, again, we've got to prioritize first bloods, and we've really got to see teams put up those executed strategies. And considering 3G's really good record, my money's on them. Hey,
well, 3G, you just look at that. Andy's got faith in you guys. I don't know what the War fans will have to say about that, as they'll be feeling pretty confident with their team here, of course. Backs against the wall, guys. Got to remember, this is for elimination. One of these 2 teams will be walking away in 6th place in stage 3. 3G will not want to be that team, given the performances of players like Niall and Beans, of course, over in stage 2 of the 67k roster. Nonetheless, though, right into the Search and Destroy, already a 3 versus 3 Team War, still with a lot of presence on the A site. Lucky gonna take down Kids, and now 1 versus 2 for Beans. He makes it a 1 versus 1. Oh, gets the second as well! Invidion, what are you doing?
Oh, I've got to tip my hat to Beans because this is incredible shooting. But Invidion, where were you, son? What were you doing? He's looking at him. He's looking straight at him. Doesn't see it out, doesn't trade it out. That is another 1v2 situation. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th 1v2 situation we have seen War lose tonight. It's almost as if they would rather see more enemy players on the other team than less at the minute, because their record of seeing out these situations is so poor. We got to give it to Beans, though. Goes absolutely massive, hits every single bullet, and that's all we can ask of him. Great stuff, because I was about to absolutely tear 3G apart for the way they played the second part of that round.
Indeed. War. Oh, gonna lose round number 1. Team 3G gonna walk away with that first round victory. And now we move on to 3G on the offense. They currently do not have the man advantage, but they have full control over this bomb site, Andy.
They do, and it is the site that you want to get the bomb down and stop a retake, but it's how far they can get out now. Can they push out? Kids is going to take up a relatively AR fight with an SMG. Niall's going to fall, so this is tough.
Talk about the close part positioning from Team 3G. They've got players along the wall. Can they hold it, though? No is the answer. Invidion, Lucky, able to come in with the retake. And Team War, I mean, they just had the numbers to make that one work, right?
Yeah, First Bloods are absolutely huge here on Moscow, and they pick up that one. They do a great job. My question for 3G at the minute is that they have these executed strategies. Clearly, they do make them happen. But the second part of the way I like to think of S&D rounds is 3 parts. You've got the bomb section at the end, you've got the opening at the start, but there's a middle there. And for me, 3G are super linear. They're all really compact. They're not great in terms of watching more than 1 or 2 angles right now, and they're leaving themselves very open. They need to be careful, or War will expose them. And well, I'll lose the money that I put on them at the start of the game.
Team War are going to draw the search and destroy here up at 1-1. Aggression coming out from Journey right at the back. Ooh, with a snap for the second. Doesn't come through. Beans able to take him down. Now 3 versus 3. I like this from War. They've just repositioned. They recognize that, hey, A is kind of blocked off at the moment. There is a potential for us to make our way over towards B. Team 3G, they have 1 player over here, soon to be 2.
Yeah, but with Niall still very far away, this is certainly an advantageous situation for War. Bomb will go down, but this is the site that is easier to retake. The thing is, 3G are going to need to wait, and Beans needs to play his life.
Oh, stun comes in, so Nvidia now knows he's still here. And oh, the shot's coming through. Lucky under the truck, why not? Now Team 3G, 1 man down on this retake. Niall's going to have to do something spectacular. Unfortunately, he's not Spider-Man, and now Keza 1 versus 2, not a chance as War fly out of that window. And now War 2-1 up.
It's unlucky for 3G, really. They rotate away from the bomb as it's going down. They think there's something coming in at A, and the way B works is that if you catch them just as the bomb has finished going down, there's so many routes in, there's so many ways in which you can collapse on a team. Great shots out of Lucky, by the way. That's a league play spot if ever I've seen one. It's unfortunate for 3G, but, I mean, at the end of the day, S&D's a mind game as much as it is a gun game, and they didn't see it through there. They made the wrong call.
Well, wrong call or not, it is going to be a Team War victory in that round. Remember, folks, last time these 2 teams faced off, it was a 6-4 victory to Team War. A close one there, and it's already shaping up to be a pretty close one over here in this game too. So far, nobody breaking the deadlock. It looks like Team 3G, they're about to.
Nvidia there, playing as the lone man, playing as that island player. And in that role, you need to be super disciplined. You need to stay alive, get the information, and get out. And Nvidia just overchecks it 1 too many times, gets caught. War, difficult spot here.
First blood does go Metal's way, but there's a trade coming in from Kids. Now 2 versus 3. Again, a bit of deja vu here. Team 3G were in this position last round. Now it's War here. To Metals and Lucky, fare better. Well, Metals certainly isn't. Now 1 versus 3 for Lucky, and he, well, doesn't live up to his name. Team 3G able to tie this one up.
Yeah, that round, I never really like to point at one particular player, but Nvidia there's got to play his life. He sees several players cross at different moments, and he just needs to, okay, I've got the information, let's get out, regroup my team, and we'll retake this B site with the same amount of numbers. And the fact that he gets picked just makes it so difficult for War. They need to claw back that life advantage and get in there quickly to defuse, and that's a lot to ask of any team at this level.
It is indeed an incredibly close search and destroy between these 2 teams at the moment. As War, once again, they don't want to do anything too strenuous here. Don't make any mistakes, because Team 3G, they are the kind of team to try and punish, especially Kids, the newest addition to this lineup. Can't currently see Nvidian. Of course, these players do not get the X-ray that we in our COD custom mode get to see, thanks to our observer for pointing that one out. Can see the feet though, and that right there, the smarts from Kids. The smarts from Nvidia to try and dodge him by jumping onto the truck. Lucky in with a trade, but still hasn't evened things out just yet. It's a 2 versus 3.
Regroup will come in, but they're about to be pinched between absolutely everyone. Won't matter if Journey kills Keza and punches the way out through the front. Now it's going to go big, and will get the first and get out with his life. Huge play. Lucky will run into Beams, though. The timing's amazing.
Oh, Lucky? No way. Lucky spotted out Beans. This will be a kill. This will be a kill right here. Okay, so there's a player down. Niall's over at A. Lucky, you've got bomb. You've got bomb. Lucky. Lucky! What are you doing?
Oh dear.
I mean, I get it. I kind of get it, right? You're a little bit concerned about the fact that Niall's maybe close by. You'd have thought that 3G would have played that together, but Lucky, I think, just overthinks that situation. Get that bomb down.
He overthinks indeed. He's trying to play so many steps ahead that he's overplayed it 100%. Again, I like what he does. If he pulls it off, he looks like a genius, but he doesn't. And instead, we've got all the questions in the world for him. That should have been. This is another case of them throwing away S&D rounds that they really should be seeing out.
Indeed it is. Well, straight in this one. Bean's going to draw first blood, but immediately traded out here. So 3G now going to have to go and retrieve that bomb. I like the reservedness of this War roster at the moment on the defense. Don't want to give 3G any quarter. Now, they have given up the A bomb site for the moment, making the gamble that, hey, this is a B push, and they would be right. Kids has just spotted the gun of metals. Semtex goes out. Look at the play call coming in. Double Semtex play to remove metals from the situation, but Lucky in with a trade. And look at this from 3G, just hightailing it over towards A.
Absolutely love the teamwork. Absolutely love the fact that they spotted the end of that gun and every Semtex in the world was thrown through the window. And then immediately make that call. Get out. I've seen 2 players inside. Bomb down. Huge retake needed for War. And they are together. And that's what they need to be in order to make this happen.
Well, the retake's going to come through Eskies. Beans on the half wall. This would be a huge kill if you're able to get it. That Semtex is going to alert Beans to the fact that Journey's over here. Play your life, Beans. He goes for the peak, and it's going to be a punish in from Lucky. Now 1 versus 2 from Kids. Premature shots come in. He's going to get away for the moment, but I love this heads-up call from Lucky. Jump on the defuse. Kids comes flying out with a Diamati. It's the right play. It's just unfortunate, but that is a lovely, lovely retake from War.
Yeah, and I think Kids has been one of the standouts of this stage, but he's not going to want to watch that one back. I think a strong breeze comes through and he hits nothing but dust, because if he wins that one, he's the favorite in that round, and I really think that he should be cleaning that kill up at this level. But those kind of mistakes will get punished, and punished they are. And suddenly a round where 3G had first blood, looked really good in terms of the way that they played. They lose it, and War cling back around where they'd thrown away. And we're about to see a massive bloodbath today, potentially.
Team War, they're over here now. 3G facing the pressure. Niall was on the half wall. That's normally a power position, but there was no power in that. Speaking about power, Keza wielding a ton of it, able to pick up 2. This very quickly turns into a situation in favor of 3G, but Lucky in a 1 versus 3. He's picked up the first of those 3 kills. Goes out for the check, though. Beans should surely have him dead to rights here. The stun check comes out. It might enable Lucky to get away. Unfortunately for him, though, doesn't stun both players. And he will fall. And what a situation there, Andy, right? Because that situation, you'd imagine, should have gone in favor of Team War. But Keza effectively flipped the board.
He did, but I also don't agree with the play call from Invidian. Invidian goes to take the fight at Eskies, and for me, that's not what should happen. He should get together with, I think it was Journey, who was still alive, whoever it was who was still alive, and basically push out one side. If you know that there's going to be players elsewhere, you know where at least one is, just push him together as a duo, and then keep the rest of the team on the opposite side. So that you can take on that fight later. Don't try and take them all on at once, because that's what happens. You get pinched, you lose, and the numbers are against you.
Team 3G haven't quite decided whether they want to take this bomb just yet. They had their heart set on an A push. Team War, though, with a pretty strong defense, has turned them away. Now 3G, I mean, they want to get this bomb down on B. There is one player over there who could potentially put a stop to it. That's going to be Invidian. I think he would be foolhardy to actually try and make the individual effort, especially when 3G have the numbers in the manner they have. So this will be about the retake. And Metals and Invidian, they're over here, ready to pounce. Lucky And Journey also coming for a pretty wrong flank, but Beans, he's ready for it. He picks up one, doesn't expect Journey to also be there. So this should be a kill for Journey in the kill feed. It won't be. Beans turns around, takes him down. Nile takes down Metals, and now it's a 1 versus 4 from Invidian. Does he have much left in the tank? He is able to get another one. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way Invidian does that. Okay. Oh, sigh of relief for 3G fans there.
We could feel it building up there. You were ready to absolutely explode if that gets into a 1v1 situation. But, I mean, Invidian does great here in terms of, like, the kills and the gun skill and so on. But, I mean, the entire 3G team managed to sail past him. And I'm all for watching your lanes and such, but that was way too easy to get that bomb down there, uncontested. And suddenly War, again, in a situation where the S&D just doesn't look good for them. 3G looking really hot. I feel for Lucky, and I think we've said that quite a few times this evening, where
yeah.
Lucky's playing really well, and his teammates just need to step it up.
Yeah, it does feel like Lucky again. He's got a bit of a misnomer, to be honest, doesn't he? His name is definitely not suited to some of the situation he finds himself in. But hey, Team War at the moment, more than capable of coming back into this game. Team 3G seem to have just clutched up in situation after situation. If Team War can start to edge out some of these rounds, they'll quickly find themselves in a round 11. You gotta get past Beans though, and they should check him.
Yeah, Beans sniffs a rat. He's going to see that nade and react and play his life, and that's exactly what he needs to do here. Get away, let his team get to him, and he will fall. So life advantage to War, but it's going to be traded back out.
Look at this play from Keza. This is such an abnormal position. There is no reason here for War to check it. Keza's going to be completely uncaught. There it is. He gets away. Gets the first kill. Plays his life. Now a 2 versus 3 for Team War. The advantage they have, of course, is they have to defend the site, but Lucky, he was in a position to make a double flank happen. Now his position has been revealed, but the kill with the Diamante, Invidian takes down Keza as well, and now it is just Kids in a 1 versus 2. The newest addition to this lineup. Can he pull it off? No. Back and forth around that wall he goes, but slapped away by War for the moment.
Yeah, another case of just play your life, just try and get away. Beans trying to take on the gunfights, and although he does make the right decision, eventually it's a split second too late, and War cuts him down, and it leaves his teammates in a difficult retake. They nearly pull it off. Kids, the young gun, almost going absolutely massive, and he has been going pretty big throughout the game, to be honest. 9 and 6, stepping up when he needed to. Lovely little flick up here of the damage board, and what I want to see is, do we see any of these weapons change as we head in here? Because if not, this is going to be 3 ARs against 3 SMGs, and they're scrapping over nothing right now.
It's pretty slow push from 3G for the moment. Again, I like it. You know, you don't want to go to a round 11 by any of your own mistakes, right? That's something that I think 3G have wanted to improve on over the course of their roster's creation in stage 3. Certainly something that they have improved on, and now as a team looking to swarm this B-bomb site. But Invidian, he's here. Invidian's here. He's able to pick up 1. No more though, but Journey looking to play spoiler, will pick up yet another one. And now Nile and Beans in a 2 versus 3. They have the bomb. Beans looks to put this to a 2 versus 2, but Lucky gets away.
Beans here. Doesn't know which way to look, doesn't know which way to turn. He's had to play his life before, but he's going to have to take a couple now.
Dead.
Round 11 again, Brody. We're in a round 11 again.
Yeah, it's one of those, right? I respect the play from Beans. It's just that is not a situation that you ever really win, right? The bomb is inside that laundry room. You're going to have to go in with like some kind of disguise to get that bomb and get out of there. There's not a chance. So round 11, War love to make these games close, huh?
Do they have the ice, though?
Do they have the ice? That is the question. So far, the answer has been no, specifically relating to the first series we saw them play versus Mavericks. And now Team 3G. Straight through mid they go. Invidian is over here.
Invidian again needs to play his life. He needs to get that's the right call. Get the information, get away. Grenades absolutely back and forth. Somehow none of them stick to anyone, and this is about to be a scrap over a take.
It's going to be a rotation coming in from Team 3G. I love this. I love this from 3G. Heads up play call at A is basically not available to us. Let's get ourselves over towards B. War have realized it. It will be just a moment too late.
It will, but this is the side that everyone loves to retake because there's so many avenues in. And I love this from 3G. They're getting out of there, out through the back. But first blood will go War.
Trades coming through. Team 3G now in a 3 versus 3. Warning shots going off. Metals has hopped this bomb. We see this so often where teams just give up the bomb site. Now they're going to regret it. Metals will get this defused. The kills come through. And that is just... Oh, we see that play so many times. It rarely works out. And we see it once again there, where 3G, they give up the bomb site. And War just waltz their way in. All right, yeah, I'll take this defuse. No problem. No problem, mate. What?
It's one of the reasons it's such a horrible bomb site to hold. I'm pretty sure that at pro level, it's like just over 50% of success on the plant. And it's because you can not only get killed from everywhere, but if you give it up, it's then such a hard one to get in and kind of take. It's just a really, really awkward bomb site. And I love that 3G made the rotation. I love that they made adjustments through their S&D because at times they had really aggressive plays.
Yep.
At other times they really slowed the play down. They did a lot of things right there. But I mean, that's a heartbreaking way to lose. We've spoken several times about how War like to not have that clutch factor, that ice, and have their own heartbreaking losses. But that's a big win to take a big 2-0 lead in this series.
It is indeed. War, I guess that's a much closer game for 3G at least, right? For a War to come out and win that one. But it does set them up to now close out the series, potentially in 3, 2-0 up. Let's take a look at our map set to remind you guys how everything has gone down so far in this series. Of course, the hard point, I'd say a pretty convincing victory for Team War, of course, 250 to 186. And then, of course, the round 11 victory for this Team War roster on Moscow Search and Destroy. 3 rounds on the bounce. They're able to close it out. And now we go to a double bill of checkmate, potentially just 1 if War closes out in 3.
Yeah, very potentially. I mean, the thing is here, Control is a lot about slaying power, and it's a lot about managing to put up multi-kills and avoid getting traded out and so on and so forth. And I just think that considering the way that Apocalypse Hardpoint went, extremely one-sided, extremely bullied out. The SMGs did not have a good time. I just worry if 3G are going to have any answer to the pressure. They then suffered that really heartbreaking loss there. And if I was in that call, in that changing room, that Discord, I would be starting to feel a little bit down right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be feeling too great about it if I'm 3G. I think there is a little bit of frustration, as you say, right? 3 rounds on the bounce is just, it's a real tough one. You're up 5-3. You really feel like you should be able to tie the series up at that point. And quite frankly, it's not what happens. Sometimes that is just the way it be. Now, while we've got your guys' attention for the moment, it is worth noting that we do not have currently a second series to bounce over to. Normally, you know, as in round robin stage, we'll have like a second series that we'll have an observer in, because that's the beauty of our production here on the community broadcast. Of course, everything we do here is completely voluntary, and we love everybody that sits behind the screen and does all the stuff for us. That being said, of course, the reason for that is because there is another match going on right now at youtube.com/COD challenges. You guys should go check that out, being casted by the wonderful Spaceman Ali and Fox. And they're going to be casting, I believe, the qualification match going on right now. So make sure you go check that out, because one of August and Mavericks will be qualifying for the playoff bracket. That will be taking place tomorrow. And then, of course, the match following this one will also be held there. So make sure you go subscribe to that YouTube channel, because if you're not, I don't know what you're doing, because Call of Duty Challenges, it is lit this season. We have had one heck of a season so far, and we're only just over halfway through.
Now, what an incredible season it has been for the COD Challenge. I've loved watching it grow, the production that everyone's putting on and everything that everyone's been doing. And I mean, even this, like I'm sat here reading off a stat sheet about the way in which these teams have performed over the previous stage, right? And if you want to bring up those stats, looking at our Control, for example, 3G here, 5-2 throughout stage so far. War 2-5. I will say though, Brody, I put my money on 3G last time because their S&D record was so good, and they chuckled it. So I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, look, when your back's up against the wall, I think it's a whole different game of Call of Duty that you're playing. right? I mean, that's the one thing that you can always note here is that, you know, a team in a round robin stage where you're effectively just fighting for seeding up until maybe the last couple of matches where maybe you are effectively fighting survival, which to be fair was a situation that War were in and they were bailed out of by Obtained Esports and Pushing Gaming. You know, it's an entirely different ball game when you get to these series where it all comes down to the wire. Your back's up against the wall, you lose, you are eliminated. So we'll see how War are able to perform. Can they close it out in 3? Let's find out. We're jumping into checkmate control. Oh, no,
and
we're not.
We're going to have a draw.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't intend to lie. The players lied for me. That was on them.
Such a great game, Brody. Let's break that one down. No, checkmate control is going to be, definitely super difficult for this 3G side if they don't get aggressive. And that's what you have to do here. You really have to, if you're on the offensive side, you want to stack the point, sure, but you want to have at least some kind of pressure to cause those really deep spawns. Meanwhile, if you're on the defensive side of things, you can really hurt your opposition here. And this is where I kind of worry for 3G. We've seen Journey and so pop off a little bit at times, especially during that hard point. And if they can get super aggressive into your secrets, into orange, and cause a bit of trouble, that's curtains for me.
Yeah, I think, you know, the secret here, realistically, for a War, I mean, if you have everybody got firing on all cylinders, I think, you know, the story of this checkmate map, generally speaking, I think has changed quite significantly over the course of the season. You know, at the very start of the season, we were talking about your AR players being the most important players on a map such as checkmate. And that's natural, right? Because I think back then, teams didn't really know how to play around those power positions. So it was extremely hard for a sub to make any moves. Now, I think over the course of the season, as the meta's changed, as, you know, the way in which these players are playing the map has changed. The sub players, I think, have become more and more important to the point now where I would argue that on a map such as checkmate, they're arguably more important than the IR players. And for that reason, you know, I really am looking at Metals and Journey here to go off. You know, we've spoken about Metals and Journey to death. Journey, I think, has been pretty consistent. This stage, Metals hasn't. It really is that simple. But when he does go off, for whatever reason, War seemed to play extremely well and normally come out on top. So maybe he is the player that needs to step up to the plate here and one of those keys to victory for this team.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's the X Factor player, if you will, for this squad. And I mean, I think that the situation kind of shows itself when you see people like Lucky constantly popping off and then it's not really working out. And you look along that board and you're like, okay, where is it then that they're falling down a little bit? And I feel it's rarely on Journey, right? Like it's rarely, I feel like I rarely see him have a bad game. And when you're an SMG duo, you need to be working really well together to actually apply that pressure. It's one thing for one of them to go out and get kills, and it can work in your ARs where one of them can really pop off and affect the map a lot. But one SMG is still going to struggle to apply enough pressure to disrupt an opposing team. And I think the reason that he is the X factor for this squad is because if he's not up to the level, if he's not putting in that big game, then War just aren't that aggressive side that, well, I mean, how many times have we spoken about it now, right? We love it when they are like that. And when they're not, well, they kind of get rolled over.
Yeah, it's really awkward to see War in their current form. I think would be the best way to sort of put a pin in it, right? I mean, War in their current form, they are not a consistent roster at all, and they're a completely different team, right? I mean, you know, right now, if you compare their stage 3 performances to stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, of course, you know, they got first place, they came out on top. Stage 2, it was a third place, I want to say, in the end. From this Team War, of course, then Los Galacticos team. And now in stage 3, I mean, they're looking down the barrel of maybe not so much anymore in this series, but they could have finished in 6th. They've got a long way to go before they start to think about having similar performances to what they had in stage 1 and stage 2. That being said, they did just win Challengers Cup number 13. And again, as we kind of noticed on the Bloody Amateurs podcast, whereas Yumi and Chaxter this week, you can never count out a squad like War. They are an incredibly talented team. Just the story for them this season has been nothing short of absurd. You know, you've got Metals returning alongside Lucky from the Toronto Ultra. Realistically speaking, they were underused. They were not utilized, I think, as much as the Spanish fans would have liked. And you've got Journey from North America, who was playing as a substitute for Atlanta FaZe last year. Of course, he didn't get a chance to play for them, but did make some waves on the Atlanta FaZe Academy, joined by Nvidian, who, of course, I think is the rookie on this team if there was to be one. So this Team War roster, the story for them has most certainly evolved over the course of the season. They've made one hell of a splash in their entrance to European Call of Duty Challengers. Can they make an even bigger one here in Checkmate Control?
The grenades are going to come in, and everyone is going to meet at plane as usual, and we're going to see all the kills go the way of War very early. That's 3. Do they make it another? And all of a sudden, you've got those deep-sided spawns for 3G, because look at the position of Invidian. He's getting nice and aggressive and choke-holding any route that they can get out of.
All these kills to go in Team War's way. Team 3G haven't even got a single frag at the moment on the board. That is just insane to me. The aggression coming in from Team War there. Finally, someone does. It's Beans, but answers straight back away from Journey. No! Journey! Oh my god, he gets 6 in a row. Will not get streaks. Team 3G finally shut down yet another one. But what a dominant opening here from Team War.
Dominant opening, and Lucky and Invidian do not have a single kill yet. Never mind. But the Journey and Metals absolutely pop off for 9 of their own. They came to play. They came to shut this down. We're already into 30 seconds. I don't think 3G, until now, have managed to smell the point. Like, it's absolutely insane. They're playing absolutely wonderfully here, and 3G, this is tough. Nile 0-4, not the start that you wanted if you were going to make the reverse sweep.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Team War, what a round from them so far. There's 5 seconds left. I mean, there you go. Now I'll rephrase that. What a round from them. Just genuinely incredible from Team War. They lose 6 lives in that round. I mean, that is one of the most dominant defensive rounds I've seen for a while. Team 3G touched the point once.
Yeah, 3G bullied there, rolled over a bit. And the thing is as well, the concerning thing was it was a bit soft. Like, there was no answer back. There was no contest. I mean, Beans gets diamatted from that range. Actually, they both might have been using diamatted. I think that's what comes out of Beans' hand. So the pistol off is won by Journey. But, oh, goodness me. 3G have to answer back here. This is a very, very quick series tonight.
You can see Nile and Kids step things up here in this round. Of course, the SMGs for this lineup. Want to see them find their way on the board. So far, Nile currently sitting on one of those fat donuts. You hate to see it. Can he get a kill here? Apparently not right out the gate, as Journey going to get that entry frag onto A. And now Team War looking for some progression.
Yeah, whereas last time War got all the kills to bully 3G back into their spawn, this time War get all the kills to effectively take great control over A. That second tick will come in at least. They probably won't get to the third. They do not. Actually, has that second come in? No, it didn't. It stopped just before. So, I mean, 3G get a bit of a silver lining there. It's only 1 tick given up at this stage. But with the fact that Nile's going to stay behind and claim it, which considering he's 0-6 is probably his most useful part of the game so far, he's left his boys outnumbered, and they're going to have to flee for their lives.
And to be fair to Team 3G, they've done a pretty good job so far at keeping Team War away. And apart from the initial surge through, Team 3G have won the majority of the gunfights. Now Nile here getting an important 2-piece. I love the proactive play coming in here from Team 3G. They've sent Nile over towards Orange, over towards Tools, and that will spawn War out on the other side of the map. Unfortunately for Team 3G though, Nile's positioning doesn't exactly work when nobody else is alive. Team War now looking for progression on B. They've got plane control in the form of Metals. He will fall, but Team War, they've broken out of the trap.
Yeah, for a second there, 3G were in a great spot. They had Nile pushed all the way up through the left-hand side of the map. That then forces War into spawning right in front of 3G players. The problem is, not a single one of them manages to win a gunfight. They all die. So that position goes to waste. War do get out. But that being said, we're into 20 seconds. Both zones needing some serious progress.
15 seconds left for War. Got to touch a point. Metals, we asked you to go off. This is your time. He picks up 1. Shots coming in. There's Metals with the second kill. Now War on the point. They've got players. Just stack it. This is what War do best when they work at their peak. Unfortunately, though, all of the players go down. It's just Invidian left up. Bye-bye, Invidian. Team 3G can walk away from round number 2 with a victory.
And they really, really needed that, Brody, because if you go down there, it's so hard to win an attack round on this map that I truly don't see any way back into it for 3G. They had a scary moment or two, but you also can see that they have that quality. They know how to play the game. We spoke about that really good record that they had in the stage beforehand. And, you know, positions like Nile getting pushed up into that side, if you do that correctly, you're putting the opposite team into a blender. It's just didn't pay off. They survive. They move forward with a round win. They've got to do something here that is 50 times better than the previous attack round.
We'll see what 3G are able to do here right out the gate. I love the focus over towards B straight out the gate. Now it's just about getting those kills. Kids able to pick up Journey. Nile with a second as well. The pressure comes in, and 3G, they win the majority of the gun battles. Lucky is the only one to win one. He's swiftly dealt with. And look at this from 3G. Right out the gate, they've made one tick of progression on B, but Invidian comes through, regains control of the plane in one swift movement. Team War here, no longer losing B.
Invidian goes disgustingly huge there. He's the man who stopped that B. He hasn't had a great evening by all accounts, but he has gone big in stopping what was almost a certain B cap. If he does fall, he takes out 3 very quickly, puts 3G back, and now they have to go again. We're down to 50 seconds. We're under a minute. Journey's all the way advanced through the spawn. Does actually fall as I'm saying that. But 3G have got to do exactly what they did at the start. Decide on which point you're going for and go for it together.
Team 3G going to win a couple of crucial fights over towards A. That'll open up an opportunity to make some tick progression over here. Kind of want to get this capture in. Time is relatively fast running out in this game to actually win this round. Kids loses a bait and switch coming in from Lucky and Journey. Now it is just Lucky over here, able to prevent this no more. Lucky is going to fall, and Nile picks up his 3rd in a row. This will be a capture for Team 3G. And even more concerning here, Andy, is the fact that they are able to transition over towards B with little resistance coming in from War.
Yeah, beautiful transition from 3G, and we can see where the difference maker is. The SMGs are finally turning up to play. Nile, he was 0-6 a minute ago, 11-13, and you're just seeing the War are suddenly not enjoying those 3 routes around the map. They're not getting that kind of spawn pressure presence that they wanted to have, and they're having to instead play from a much deeper position. As you can see from Invidian, instead of being pushed up around that A bomb, around putting pressure into Crate, he's trying to take fights all the way back there, and Keza eats him.
Well, the good news for Team 3G here, 60 seconds on the clock. Yes, they are down by lives, but they only need 2 ticks of aggression to be made on B, and that could very easily happen with 1 surge of kills and a stacking of the point. However, the question is, will Team War let that happen? Snile going to vie for playing control. Team 3G, you want to take this one carefully. Metals comes out. It's going to fall to Nile. Here comes the hit from 3G. Can they make it happen?
Not losing first bloods like that, and then the second as well. And these are the kind of moments where you need to make sure that the kill feed is in your favor, and they don't have it right now. No respawns remaining for 3G. Lucky's going on a 5 spree. Beans will fall. Everything's blue in the, white in the feed. And just like that, we are going to take a War lead into the next round, and War nearly won that last attack round. War looked really good for it. Oh no, don't. Okay. For a second there.
Oh, God. I thought... I could see the play coming there. I was like, no, Keza. Not like this. But it's all good. It didn't happen. War end up winning that round.
They do indeed. And like I said, they looked really good in their previous attack round. 3G clung on by their fingernails. And the thing is, if War do come out here and apply that same kind of pressure, do we see 3G buckle? Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that War, I think by all calculations, War will still be ahead on ticks, even if they don't make any progress here. So 3G resigned to the fact that they're going to have that defensive round and go absolutely massive 2 rounds in a row.
War right now. looking for the opening to close the lid on this series. Gunfight's going down the mid. Metals almost wins out against Beans, but the trades are won out by Team 3G. And again, look at this proactiveness coming in from Team 3G. However, the problem, Lucky is on a 9 spree, has earned score streaks, and that could be the opening of the floodgates that Team War need in this game.
It could. Lucky will eventually fall, but look at Metal's position here. He's in the defensive spawn causing those kind of problems. Actually, the situation isn't as dire for 3G as it initially looked because lives are relatively even. The thing is, Journey's absolutely popping off, but his teammates haven't actually done that much in this round. Journey will bully his way onto A, continues to absolutely light it up. He's enjoying the SMG game right now. Beans gets shot on the side, kids will fall, and goodness me, he's looking really, really good. We've got him popping off streaks in one corner. A's making progress. Brody, this needs to be an absolutely huge round from 3G right here, right now.
And if I capture this A point, I'm lucky. I use that streak pretty much straight away, right? To try and clear the plane. You can land one on the wing, and that would most certainly do the job. I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore, considering even if they capture A, their presence over towards B is basically non-existent. Journey swings out for that last kill. Yeah, no surprise there. So A is now gone. It's fallen by the wayside. 3G have to chalk it. Now make their way over towards B. Our Team War. They have that streak to work with. A couple of kills going in their favor. Now Disaster. Here's the streaks coming in from Team War. Lucky, of course, is going to use them. Metals gets the support from Nvidia for that fight. Nothing is done with the streak. It just forces Team 3G away from the power positions. But Team War, the presence is here.
3G are actually doing an incredible job here of clinging on just for a moment. Kids will do enough. For a second there, I thought he got spot on, and that would have been a highlight reel. We still have a cruise missile in play, but it's whether they invest it now or they decide to save it. They are up by 2 lives. We're down to the final minute. Not a bit of progress on B. He's going to invest.
Here it is. Here it is. The streak coming in from Lucky. You're going to say it. He's going to invest. Does he get any returns from it, though? He gets 1 kill. Lands on. Doesn't do anything else, but that's the opening that Team War maybe wanted. 8 versus 5 now. They have the life advantage. Keza picks up Lucky, though. Trades coming in, but Team War, they have a secret weapon. Metal's coming in from behind. He loses the gunfight against Nile, but it doesn't matter as Nvidia and Journey pick up the gunfights towards the point. It leaves Keza and Nile all on their lonesome. Can they get onto the point to save this one? Nile with a pre-fire through the wall. The shot punch comes in. He is dead to rights. And Team War, they walk away with a victory here. Team 3G, a 6th place finish in Elite Stage 3 here in Europe. Team War, they live to see another day.
Live to see another day is the correct term to use. How many times have we watched them and we keep saying like, oh, they're struggling, they're not themselves, they're clinging on, and yet somehow they're still in the tournament, whether through other people's results or seeing out their own by the skin of their teeth. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they've been really good here in the respawns. They were perhaps fortunate to take away the S&D, but I mean, they've lost a couple of their own round 11, so I'm sure they'll take that fortune. And yeah, now much better from them, much more like the war of old. But in order to really make that statement convincingly, I think I need to start seeing it against your Augluses and so on. Not 3G, who, plenty of credit to them, had a great stage. It is a heartbreaking end off the back of 2 straight losses, but no, they've really shown themselves and done themselves proud throughout this one.
Yeah, I would say so. For Team 3G specifically, you walk away with your heads held high. Yes, you got 6th. You know, yes, that is, you know, not the best placement in the world, but I think for a team like this that, you know, we're kind of forced into a roster change at the start of the stage, you kind of got to remember that Detain was supposed to be playing with these guys before he got yoinked by Obtained. And we all know how that turned out, right? So for this 3G roster to come in here with Kids, it's a gamble in on itself, right? Bringing Kids onto this lineup. Kids is a player who, as part of FTW Esports, earlier on in the season, his best placement was not very good. I think it was like top 16 at best. He might have had an outlier result, but beyond that, pretty consistently top 64s, top 128s from him, of course, as part of that FTW Esports roster. It's a massive risk bringing in a player like that. And I think 3G, even though they got 6th place, I think they'll be glad they took that risk because Kids has been a pretty good asset for this roster. At this point going forward, for me, with this 3G team, it's just refining what you're already doing, just making sure that you're consistently working together as a team, hitting stuff if maybe you don't have control of it. That's what I need to see from this 3G roster, because they most certainly have the firepower across the 4 players. They've, these individual players, they've looked really good this season. They've made a name for themselves, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do going forward if they're able to qualify for stage 4. Because let me tell you, Andy, the team's currently not in challenges, not currently already set for stage 4. It is looking intense.
It is looking very, very good. And I mean, we're going to end up with another team out of this group falling into that qualification process anyway. And yeah, just to go back to what you said about 3G, we spoke about it the other day on the podcast, actually. These players now need to make sure they learn from this process and evolve as a group, not fall into that trapped mindset of I deserve to be there, I should be there. You've done it once, you've had your sky high moment, now you need to do it consistently. And I think that the qualities that they show as a team, we should expect to see them back in the elite at some point throughout this year. But yeah, for now they fall away. They can regroup and go again. For War, do we have any updates on how the other series was going, or are we?
I haven't had it up.
No,
I haven't had it up
any.
actually.
Okay.
So my internet can only handle so much. It would. I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, they've got another big one to go, and I don't know. For me, part of me can see them winning the entire thing. There's this weird feeling about War where I'm like, part of me's like they're going to be absolutely brilliant, but it's that X factor, as we keep talking about, where it's like, do you see those players that have those inconsistent series sometimes? Do they step up? Do they join your Luckies and your Journeys and make this team more well-rounded? Or do they just have one of those where it's like, well, they've been off a bit?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. This War roster, they have a challenge ahead of them. Regardless of whether they face Mavericks or Auglis, it is going to be a challenge. I need to see this War roster step up to that challenge, step up to the plate, because honestly, going forward, this War roster, I think they've got quite a bit to prove. They were once one of the top teams in Europe. Are they still? That is the question going forward. And I know all the War fans in the chat are like, yeah, of course they are. Brady, what are you saying? Shut up. But honestly, I'm in doubt. I'm in doubt. War still need to prove that, I feel, at least. And of course, you guys will get to see the conclusion of War's story, not necessarily on this stream, but over at youtube.com/COD Challenges. That as well. The rest of this knockout bracket will be going down. Currently, we have August going head-to-head with Mavericks, being casted once again by the wonderful Spaceman Ali and Fox. It's currently 1-1 in that series, so make sure you guys go switch your sets over to that series, as that's going to be a banger, no doubt in my mind. One of those two teams will be qualifying, and then of course we'll be seeing the final qualification match in Europe between War and whoever loses that matchup. But from us here on this stream, Andy, any final words?
No, just that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to cast over challenges. Goodness me, tripping over my words there. But it has been wonderful to watch this talent, and I can't wait to see who goes on from here to do amazing things tomorrow when we get to see who takes it all home and what the rest of this season is going to bring for these challenger sides.
Yeah, and of course, guys, make sure you stay subscribed to this YouTube channel. Give Shift all the love for setting up everything with these community broadcasts. We will be returning later on to provide you guys winners round 1 and losers round 1 of the North American Challengers Elite Knockout Bracket. So that is going to be epic. Make sure you return later on as well. I think it's like, I want to say it's like 1 a.m. or 12 p.m. BST, whatever that is in EDT. And my brain is not going to work out those conversions at the moment. Make sure you return later on to this channel. We'll be having North American challenges to share with you guys as well. But until then, make sure you guys check out that YouTube stream. We'll be seeing you.